up, and welcome back to the Section 10 Podcast, episode 523, presented by Underdogs Fantasy. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2025 World Series champion, Boston Red Sox. My name is Jarren Duran Arb, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Coley Mick, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Tyler Milliken, and he killed his dog Bullet, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. Steve, how you doing?
Ooh, what up, Section 10 in the building?
In the mother fucking building. Presented by Blue Moon.
Suck one.
Produced by Jake Yazzie, who's back. Welcome back, Jake.
Fuck yeah. Thanks, Jared.
Anytime, dude. I'm fucking happy you're here. It's good to see your face. I can't fucking,
okay.
You know.
After the reduction, I know. I don't want to ask you to do a bunch of stuff. You just went through hell.
I'm still going through it, brother.
Do you have to pick it up to move around?
It's a reduction.
Yeah, T, I don't know if you know what reduction means.
Well, no, me and J-Dog were talking.
Get this guy a dictionary.
Whoa, it's still
Come
big.
on.
It's not like now micro or anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, it's not what it once was. So
no, you said we're in the same club now, actually.
Yeah.
9-inch club, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
Steve, Coley, Jake? No?
No.
Haters. You could be with us. We could all hang together. We could roll together.
Yeah.
I don't like that verbiage.
Yeah, so I think, what was the bingo board out there? The T-Dog.
Funny post, by the way. Funny post.
Bingo board. Shout out to Dave. X-Metalhead X1. That's like an AIM screen name. X-Metalhead X101.
Classic handle.
Yep. Tyler Milliken bingo board. And I'm going to file that one under awkward sexual comment, talking about Coley's penis. The bingo board, sabermetrics, bullet, more than one final thought. You're guaranteed that one.
Every time. Yeah, we should have, when you go through, check off the ones that happen every show, because I'm pretty sure bullet doesn't happen every show, but more than
bullet
one final
just happened. Bullet just happened.
It happens every show.
But not every show.
It's in the intro, Steve. I don't know. I feel like that's every show,
like
brother.
that doesn't really count. T.
Tyler?
I recently started a new adventure on Pokemon Soul Silver. And you have to pick your starter Pokemon and everything.
Steve?
I noticed that I don't think finger up is in this, right? I don't think putting the finger up is in here, unless it has to be things he says.
Don't give Dave any more ideas,
It's things he says or does. I mean, I figure we could probably make multiple Tyler Milliken bingo cards, because isn't that how it works? Everyone has a different bingo card, or else everyone wins.
True.
At the same time. Spare me, butcher somebody's name, no disrespect, defending his Twitter.
These are so
fucks
common.
up the Taikus, some self-destructive act, messes up an ad read, like sock signatures, mentions a dead relative, Martha,
Love
gets
you, honey.
suspended. That's the center. So everyone gets that as the center. Ex-player truther, say what you will, anything Brockton, anything Bobby Dahlbeck, why wasn't I invited, Papagenos, asks Jake to back him up on something, lashing out at someone, not to crap on the guy, awkward sexual comment, coachable, and the 99. It's a pretty great bingo card.
That's all I am.
The fact that we filled up, or not we, but the fact that Dave here has filled up an entire Tyler Milliken bingo card where everything could conceivably happen in one episode, and we're gonna sit here and still be like, there are things missing from this bingo card. Like there are the things that certainly apply. Like Tyler burning down his house.
Yeah, fire.
Yep. Let's think of some other ones.
Horrible music take.
Yep.
The finger up should have been in there.
Dropped.
The finger
McDonald's.
up is every episode.
That should be the middle square, I think, even more so than suspended. He's had some clean episodes. He's just never had a no finger up episode.
No, there's no chance.
Oh,
No.
tip your
Somebody,
cap.
by the way, real quick.
Tip your cap to the guy.
Shout out to the Section 10 memes account. Very funny. I mean, they're all funny.
Very
but
fast.
Very fast. But the one as Tyler with the dog hand up, that was so accurate and so funny. Love that.
I think I mentioned, I sent out a tweet. We're going to talk. None of us were there. I don't know how we're going to have a conversation about it, but we are about the Fenway Fest.
We'll
I sent out a tweet being like,
I was essentially virtually there.
Wish I could have been there. Seems like everyone had a lot of fun. We'll be there next year, and let's work on getting the frozen Tyler Milliken dunk tank going. And within, I don't know, a minute and a half, the Section 10 memes account had a meme about Tyler doing the frozen dunk tank at the Fenway Fest next year. Yeah, I do want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that. First, I do want to talk about the Underdog Fantasy app because you know, it's playoff time. In football, every game means more during the playoffs, and you can start your own personal playoffs on Underdog, where you could cash in on touchdowns, interceptions, yards, and more. All you have to do is pick higher or lower, and you could take home up to 1,000 times your money if you get the picks right. It's that simple. Millions of fans have already won billions. That's right, billions with the B. Billions of dollars making picks. Sign up for Underdog today using the promo code Jared. That's Jared, and you will get a free pick as part of your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That is promo code Jared. So let me tell you this right now, because I know I don't want to say that it's not a civil war. It's not a great divide, one side, two sides. I feel like it's very fractured at this point with the fan base. I'm sure that there are certain individuals in the New England area, Red Sox fans, maybe they're Red Sox haters, that wanted to see the Fenway Fest kind of fall on its face as a fuck you to John Henry or the Red Sox in general for, you know, not spending money. Me personally, none of us were there, but I was taking it in through Twitter, Instagram. It was very cool to see a lot of folks, familiar faces from Red Sox Twitter, who went there, and kind of like, it was like worlds colliding. And, you know, it's like, oh, I know that account and I know that account. And now they're hanging out together and they're taking pictures in front of the Green Monster. Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think for all of what I read online about it, everyone had a great time. I didn't see anyone being like, man, like that was underwhelming or whatever. So, I mean, you got to tip your cap to the Red Sox, because do I think it was a thrown together event? Probably. Yeah. Because it wasn't winter weekend. It wasn't at a casino. It wasn't a big to do. It was kind of just like, well, you know, we're not having a party at a big casino, but we can have a party at our house, I guess. I don't know. And I think they did a pretty good job, all things considered. Again, it's hard for me to say, not having been there. I can't be like, yeah, and I liked this thing that they did. Like, I don't know. But I do like, from what I saw online, they brought fans on the field. A lot of people having their first time ever on the field at Fenway. Yeah. A lot of people going in the Green Monster for the first time. A lot of these people probably thinking like, how am I ever going to have that experience? Oh, Fenway Fest. Cool. I think they still kind of brought an element of winter weekend there when they had the whole team on stage and they had them come out for the first time. And you're seeing guys like Garrett Crochet wear a Red Sox jersey for the first time. That's always cool. We mentioned that, how, you know, it sucks that we don't do the in-person press conference anymore. Like the last time was Raffy. I mean, Corbin Burns just had his today for the D-backs. Scott Boras was there, and Mike Hazen, and what were the God bless him, the 95,000-year-old owner of the D-backs, who was just yapping. He was just like, this is open mic night. I was watching it on MLB Network. But getting to see the players in the jersey for the first time, very cool. And I think Alex Cora talked about it on Nesson. It's a team bonding thing, like having everyone, they're in the middle of their off seasons, they're doing their own thing, they're at home, they're doing their workouts, and some guys do work out together depending on where they live. But this is, you know, it's a team building exercise to all be in the same room at the same time. And then you get to, it's not like the winter meetings where it's every team, players, executives, whatever, that are all under the same roof. But to get guys like Craig Breslow, Alex Cora, and the roster together, then yeah, I think it's a very cool thing, and I'm sad I couldn't be a part of it. But I think next year I would absolutely love to be there, whether it's in like an official way or just browsing as a fan. I think that would be very cool.
I think it is hard to look at an event like this when we've had so much fun at Winter Weekend to now know that event has existed.
Sometimes too much fun, Steve, right? Sometimes too much fun, you know what I'm saying?
Wasn't bringing it up for that.
But
you know
Reddit is very into the story.
Yeah, it's great. It was just playing poker or something. But No, like we know that Winter Weekend, like what that's capable of. So then when you see an event like this, it's just a completely different event. My biggest takeaway seeing the stuff on the Twitter machine, which good point, Jerry. I feel like so many of the people we follow and so many of the people that are in our life on our phones on Twitter were at this event. It was a colliding of
they're
worlds.
Real people.
Yeah, they're actual humans that like go outside and breathe air like that. Yeah. I just look at them as like, no, they're just in this device and they live here full time. But no, it's my biggest takeaway is that Fenway is like the biggest celebrity that we have. It is just seeing people on the field, seeing the monster for the first time, standing on the warning track and looking up at the green monster. Still, even though we've gotten to do it a handful of times, is the coolest thing ever. Like that is a spectacle, being on the field and looking up, at the wall and the ladder and all of that stuff. So that
when
part
you're
of it's
standing
cool.
right in front of that 310 sign in left field, T. Oh,
shut up,
man.
Who tweeted the pick? That was a funny pick. I want to give credit. Who was that? T, you know who that was?
I swewer I don't remember, but I did see the pick as well.
That was very funny. No, I mean, obviously you love that, but no, like, you mix the players in there, you mix in, interactions with people in the organization. Like obviously people are going to have fun doing that. The one other thing is, dude, Tristan Casas, there's no like video you're going to see of him interacting with Red Sox fans that isn't going to be a little awkward. And that's how he likes it. He likes these awkward interactions. He lives in that. He likes sitting in that. There was that girl that came up that got a home run ball of his. And he was like, no, I can't sign it with the date from the homer, but I can do today's date. And she's like, oh no, but the date was, and he like repeated the date as she said it. I'm like, you're so weird in like a great way. He just does weird stuff and he loves like sitting in it. And then fans go along with it because they love Tristan, the people that are there to meet him and everything. But I am just so intrigued by the mind and the being that is Tristan Casas. He's a one of one, that's for sure.
I think it's safe to say Tristan Casas is the most popular player on the Red Sox. And that's even with the season that Duran just had and the season that Casas just had, which was injury plagued. If you were to poll Red Sox fan, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's the most maybe he's the most popular player on Red Sox Twitter. Yes. I think if you polled the entire fan base, you would probably get Rafael Devers, because it's like, oh, he's been here the longest, he's the highest paid, he won a World Series here. It would be very interesting to see like the demographics, right? Like if you broke it up between age groups, if you broke it up between how long have I been a Red Sox fan for, then you would probably get a bunch of different answers. But I would bet the house, no pun intended, on Tristan Casas being the most popular Red Sox player amongst active Red Sox Twitter users.
He is like also under the age of 30, right? Like, I feel like if you're under 30,
you fucking wait your goddamn turn to talk about Casas, because we're not going to be able to understand a word you're saying when you got his piece down your esophagus.
I don't have his piece down my throat. It's his birthday. Show some respect.
Please. We don't honor birthdays anymore?
It is. No, it's now. I think he's Steve.
Real quick, Jerry. Yeah, I think there's a scenario where you do that poll and Tristan Casas gets a ton of votes for favorite, most popular player, and for least favorite. I think you would get a wide range of people that would vote on that and give you, both ends of the spectrum there. Obviously, we know where T would be. He's
polarizing, but he shouldn't be. Like, why?
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I say. That's it.
Well, I'm a Tristan Casas realist. Like, I like the guy. I like the player. The only time I don't like when he's in the conversation is when you try to compare him to Bobby Dahlbeck. Like, you could compare Bobby Dahlbeck to like fucking like Tony Gwynn, and I'm siding with Bobby Dahlbeck.
To Bobby Dahlbeck. Other people
did today.
No, other people did. I responded to a tweet.
And you quote-tweeted it to start a narrative. You did that. You could have just not responded.
No, because there's this common thread that everyone wants to go, oh, he had a nice second half like Bobby Dahlbeck, and I just don't think those are accurate situations to compare.
Tyler Bingo, check off Bobby Dahlbeck reference. You can't help yourself, brother.
I didn't bring him up there. You brought him.
I'm going to keep track during the show to see how many of these he checked.
Jerry did bring him up.
Thank you, Coley.
Bobby Dahlbeck. Bobby Dahlbeck.
And I'll bring him up again. I don't give a shit.
No doubt. We love Bob.
White Sox legend.
We love Bob here. But with Casas, I think when the Netflix doc comes out, people are going to like him even more. I think the Netflix doc will probably have a chance to maybe, like in today's climate, especially in the political world, I feel like there's no convincing people. Like if you're on the left or you're on the right, those people are firmly planted. But I think if you are someone that maybe doesn't love Tristan Casas, the Netflix doc has the chance to maybe change your mind and make you a fan, or at least make you feel like an asshole for not liking him for the reasons that you don't like him. I feel like it has the possibility to do that. It's like you may come to that internal conclusion. You may not accept it. You may not admit it publicly, but you may come to that internal conclusion. Maybe I'm the asshole and it's not actually Casas in the situation.
Well, just seeing like some of the notes that are out there right now about what those 30 minutes were. And I thought there was going to be a lot more leaks. They locked up everybody's phone, apparently, on the scene, so nobody could record anything. But now that
they showed people 30 minutes, I thought it was like a minute and a half trailer.
No, it was 30 minutes. Like you sat down and you got a good chunk of, I guess the first episode or whatever it may be. I don't know if that's exactly how they're framing it or editing it all together.
Well, what the fuck? Why? How many people listened to this podcast that were in that room didn't message us and be like, hey, this is what the 30 minutes were about?
The fact we're just finding that out is crazy. I thought it was a trailer. Yeah.
I literally thought it was just a trailer. How did you find out, T?
I think that's what was written. I'm worried that I'm losing my mind just by people who were covering the event.
By whom?
T.
Just like
You've
reporters.
never missed an opportunity.
Reading it was 30 minutes.
Name him?
Give me a second here. Give me a second.
You see, this is.
And if I'm right, what are you going to say?
I'm going to be upset with the people that were in the room that listened to this podcast that didn't immediately come to us and be like, hey, this is what you guys missed. This is what you didn't get to see. This is what was going on.
I hope T's wrong. I don't want to rip the people.
I'm not ripping the people. I'm just saying I'm upset. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
I did send the clip of Casas. While we're on Casas, I think it's fair to play his reaction to the trade rumors. It was an interesting response.
Oh my God. And again, it is a good response. You would have thought by reading Tyler's tweet that he just said the fucking, I had a dream speech. It was crazy. He's like, it's up there. Abraham Lincoln, all of them, JFK.
Who's gonna forget the Casas Fenway Fest speech?
I was just like, this guy said
it's
all
iconic.
The right things.
It's iconic. Yeah, he did. Yeah, all right, here it is.
Yeah.
And for a young guy, you've heard the rumors, when you're a good young player and a team's looking to add, your name gets thrown around. Have you kind of learned to compartmentalize that? I mean, you talk to a lot of guys, and that can be one of the tougher final things. To learn the business of baseball, not let it interfere with you as a baseball player. Have you learned that lesson? Are you learning that lesson?
Yeah, I try not to pay attention to it, of course, because I try to just stay in my lane and understand that come March 28th, I'm going to be playing a major league game, whether it's for the Red Sox or not. I mean, would I like to spend the rest of my career wearing these 6 letters, whether it's Boston or whether it's Red Sox? Absolutely, 100,000%. But it's funny getting my name tossed around with all these great players. I'm like, wow, he's a great player. Like, oh, that person's good too. Like, maybe I'm good too. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's exciting. Obviously, I want to stay here, but just to hear my name get thrown around a lot, it's funny because maybe I add value to that team as well, and there's a lot of great organizations out there, but none like this one in Boston. So would I like to stay here? Yes, absolutely. But is it fun to hear my name get compared to certain guys? Yeah, it's interesting as well, but that's the business, and having a little bit of a career, especially in the minor leagues, seeing all the turnover, I understand that, it's part of the business, and sometimes there's shocking moves that have to get done to shake up an organization. And, a lot of times they work, just moving guys and a little turnover, could do a lot of good for an organization.
Good stuff. We appreciate the time. Good to see you.
Yeah,
it was 30 minutes, by the way.
It was 30 minutes.
Applaud me. Team. Play it up.
By whom?
Ian Brown.
Okay.
Downtown Ian Brown.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good response. I think most guys, if they were to say the exact same thing that Casas said, the tone matters. And there are certain individuals where if they said that in a different tone, it's like, well, do you actually mean that? Like you're saying, yeah, I understand it's a business. I genuinely think that Casas just flies through life and is not bothered by much. Like he's just everything that we know about him, I take it at face value. Like he is this individual in a team sport that just beats to his own drum and is not bothered by the outside noise. Like there's guys that I'm like, yeah, that didn't hurt my feelings. And it's like, that hurts your feelings. Casas is like, yeah, it's a business. I understand it. It's cool to be compared to you didn't say Luis Castillo, but it's like, yeah, Luis
what he
Castillo
meant.
and whoever, the any other Mariners pitchers, like that's cool. Like they think that I'm worth something like that. But it's a business and I get it. And if it can make the team better, then great. I'd love to be here. I'd love to play for the Red Sox, but if not, then I understand. And I genuinely believe him. Like I do. I don't think he's like at home being like, fuck these motherfuckers, trade me then. Like Marcus Stroman is definitely having a conniption at the idea that the Yankees are like, get this guy off my team. Casas is like, hey, I get it. It is what it is. And it's fine. And if I'm here, great. And if I'm not, then I understand.
I mean,
You see how it
Stroman
weighs
would
on
search
certain
for
guys.
things to get upset about, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he would end a start where he had like 7 shutout and be like, who's saying something bad? I'm going to block him so fast. So I think Tristan is, if we look at it like in a savant sense, he's in like the first percentile of not really caring about anything. He's like, I'm going to show up, play baseball. And I do believe he's actually like a student of the game. Anytime we've had him mic'd up, he knows what's going on like around the league. Like he studies what's happening around the league. So I think when he sees himself compared to some of these other players that he probably knows the numbers of and is well aware of what they're capable of, he does he's probably up at night seeing that and gets excited. Like, oh, that's kind of cool that I'm on the same list as Luis Castillo and some of these other guys. So yeah, he seemed unfazed and it was a good answer. I know T loved it.
Yeah, no, but you
loved it.
I did love it because I think that
Loved
is
it.
who Tristan Casas is. And I think it's something the Red Sox haven't appreciated enough, especially when they're looking for guys who could be the leader of this team, guys who can speak out and be a face. The whole Raffy Devers conversation, I think, was really the only negative PR that came out of, that day. And I think, on the whole Raffy Devers thing, we can get into it. But if you're looking for guys who can be faces and who can speak and make that connection to the younger fan base, something the Red Sox are struggling in this era to connect with and kind of get people going. He's had one time ever where he really messed up with the media, and it was when he was coming back from the injury. And, he made a dramatic comment. I think that if you hear it out loud, if one of us said something when we weren't feeling great, I feel like I got hit by a car, no one would think too much of it, right? But that comment got blown up. It got him in trouble, right? The stab, the shot, all that. But I think for Tristan Casas, like he once again shows that he brings this energy, this leadership, this kind of just like, he's interesting. There's something about him that stands out. And for a Red Sox team that hasn't had a lot of that, and really since Mookie Betts left, that's something I feel like they should cling to a bit more. No?
Yeah.
If that doesn't sum up Tristan Casas so well, by the way, he did have that time where he was like, it feels like I'm getting stabbed and shot every time I swing.
He's been in the big leagues since, we go back all the way now to 2022, right? Like we've had a decent chunk of him. It's not like he's got in front of the mic and embarrassed himself regularly. Like it's not a situation like that. So I don't know. I think they should be playing on this more. The fact that you had a guy who went to the All-Star game last year and was so interesting to people that they wanted him to do stuff and represent the game. Like that's a positive. That's not a negative. And often it feels like this fan base frames that stuff as a negative when he's showing that personality, when he was in the dugout ranting and advocating for Jarren Duran. How about, you talk Tristan Casas, the guy who's been working out with Roman Anthony this offseason. Once again, another offseason of working with younger guys and making that effort. None of that shit gets appreciated or acknowledged, it seems.
No.
It's just, clearly things behind the scenes that we're not privy to, that he's such a problem.
Right. Where would you rank that Tristan Casas answer between like Roosevelt after Pearl Harbor, the Gettysburg Address, JFK's inauguration speech, and
MLK? Come on, MLK
Obama?
MLK and Lou Gehrig, I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And David Ortiz, too. This is our fucking
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan, I love you. I'll be here for you.
That's a fair
we
question.
know that.
What's the answer to the question?
I haven't heard any of the other speeches. I don't know. I'm going to put
None?
ML. You know what? Safe answer. What?
That's insane.
None.
That's insane. What an awful American.
I feel like in school he would have accidentally heard one of those.
Oh, he
at
went
some
to
point.
Brockton High. Like, what are they teaching over there? They're certainly not teaching Pearl Harbor. They're not teaching JFK. That's crazy. The Gettysburg Address. Come on.
What was Lincoln's barrel
MLK?
rate?
These are classics.
Did Lincoln have a high K percentage? These are the things T thinks
Yeah.
about.
I will
Escape
say,
for 9.
in 5th grade, I went to John F. Kennedy Elementary School. We didn't really pay
Okay.
much attention to him, but they played Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream," and I cried during it in 5th grade. And they called.
So
my
then you
mom.
heard it, you fucking idiot.
I like remember sitting there, but I don't remember it. I don't like. I know what it's
you
about.
just said you heard it and you cried to it, and you said, I've never
said
even heard those
I wasn't
before.
crying because of the words.
I
It was
couldn't believe-
scary.
Boo! Get off the stage,
Dude, okay, first off, if you're watching it, it's in black and white. Secondly, the
I
people
gotta
are
put
very
what? You
excited.
can
still
Come
hear
on,
it.
you're bringing race into this team.
Whoa,
like,
It's a
It was
speech.
just
Why does it
scary.
matter? Why is the visual?
Scary.
The visual
It was a scary
matter?
scene for a young
Uh-oh.
child to look at. I don't do well
Oh
with
my
big
God.
crowds.
This is not good for your brand, T. I'll be honest.
I'm a big MLK guy. I've always
No,
been a
you're
big
not.
MLK
oh,
guy.
it didn't sound like you were there.
You just said you cried tears of fear when he talked about there being equality in America. You
It
said
just-
that scared you.
It was
to
a dark
tears.
room and it was a scary day.
Whoa!
and
What do you mean?
I'm done.
Oh,
The lights were off.
All right, dude. T.
He's like, I
Boom
saw
sauce.
nothing. I'm like, T, no.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Let's change the subject before T
Ugh,
gets
God, T.
canceled. You tried, man. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Fenway Fest. Yeah. So
Add racism to the squares.
Yeah.
Squares.
Every
Yeah.
show, racist.
yeah.
There was not a racist comment
all right.
there.
All right. Yep. Anyways, Fenway Fest.
Mm.
What, Coley?
Shout out the pot on Lansdowne guys. I thought they won the day. Like,
They definitely won the day with
comfortably.
Smiley.
Made me angry we weren't there. I was like that.
Mm.
We should be there to both smooch them and beat them into submission.
Just Liam.
Yeah. No, mostly Liam for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to go back. I owe a lot of people in the Red Sox content creation an appearance. I've been asked to do a lot. I say yes to all of them, and then I just haven't done any of them because, first of all,
Dick too big.
yep, surgery life is not
Yeah, now you can. You got a normal penis.
lending itself. Yep. Dad life, and then I'm also Tyler's mentor, which apparently I'm failing at immensely.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah, that
racism
takes-
thing, not that I am racist, but it would lead back to you.
T, you're making this. You're not helping your case. He's like,
I
the whole
said
show
I'm
is
not
going to be like, I'm
racist.
so not racist. Like,
To address my racism, and
You
like,
wouldn't
make
even
it
believe
clear.
how not
we were
racist
so
Tyler
past it
is.
too. Like the fact that
Yeah.
you brought it back up. Like I am so not racist at all, or
Yeah.
ever have been, not once.
Crazy.
Well, between this and the
All right,
hand thing
all right.
last episode,
What happened last episode?
there was a claim that I made a hand gesture that was representative
Oh yeah, the
of a
Nazi
bad
thing you
group.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll
Fenway Fest
you'll
next year,
battle
we'll be
back
there.
from this. Yeah. Yeah. Red Sox win 9-2. I think I should bring back the I should bring back the Notebook this year.
You think it's a book type of season? Is that where you feel that's the temperature you're taking right now?
I don't know. I feel like people at least enjoyed the ability to recall the small details. I think without the Notebook, it's kind of like a general overview. And then with it, it's like you're picking up like little things. I think I can maybe not read everything, but kind of like take my notes and then go back and like pick like 5 things.
Jerry, I got to say something real quick.
Yeah, I know what you're
don't-
going to say. It makes the show longer.
No,
but,
that's actually
like-
not what I'm going to say. I think the show is
Oh.
equally long either way.
That's what's going to
I-
be my counter. Yeah.
I would.
Glad we hashed that out.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 hours regardless. I've already accepted that, but
Yeah.
I'm always a proponent of like the more recent stuff at the top. You know what I mean? Instead of going back to game one. That's my only thing. I think the game we just came off of, people want to hear about the most because it's most fresh in their brains, depending on what happens in the
I
finale.
don't
That's
know
all I
if I
got.
like that take. Yeah, the chronological.
I know you wouldn't
got
like it, but I just want to say it.
Well, because you also don't want to like what if like like
If the game
Crochet
sucks, that's
starts
fine.
on Friday night and just dominates, and then we're leading off with like Sunday fucking.
No, it's situational. It all depends
what's
on
that?
the
What's
series.
the
Brian
fucking?
Baio.
What's the guy? The catcher. Navarro.
Yeah, who did they just get to?
David
I know you got
Navarro?
a long
Carlos
list.
Narvaez.
Carlos Narvaez. Like, what if he, he has a big game on Sunday, and that's what we're leading off with. But Garrett Crochet punched out 13 on Friday.
I guess more my point being like the most topical stuff I think always plays off the top, but that's all.
I have an idea.
See,
Oh boy.
I'm
That's
not really worried about the order that we talk about things, but how about we change the paper you use? Not a notebook, but more of a what do you call it? Oh no. The thing you flip the paper over the top, a notepad.
What the fuck is the difference between a notepad and a notebook, brother? The direction that you turn the page? That's what we're talking about?
T, how does that impact anything? That changes nothing.
That actually makes it infinitely more difficult because now I can't flip pages. That's an awful idea. You deserve to be suspended.
I thought he was being a dick, being like he was going to take over the notes because he uses the Google app. That's what I thought he was building.
I thought he was
Notepad's
suggesting
the worst
sticky
suggestion
notes.
ever.
No.
Yeah.
I'm very anti-sticky notes. I will say, I do think the doc that is sent out is very similar to the notebook, but doesn't get appreciated in the same manner.
No,
but
because it's awful.
Okay.
It's filled with slurs.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. And at the end,
I'm
it
not
says
the one
not
putting
racist.
those in there. I'm just saying with the notepad, when we finish a game, you rip off the paper, and that's how people know, like, oh, like he's moved on to the next game. It's kind of like that exclamation mark at the end of a segment.
No, that's a terrible idea because if the Red Sox like won the World Series, then I would want to have the notebook. But instead, it's like, oh no, Tyler said I should rip out all the fucking pages and throw them away. I took notes on 162 games of a championship season. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have them to look back on? No, I actually ripped them out of the book to move on from the game.
Counterpoint, when you rip them off, you get to shoot them in the trash. That's always a fun game, right? Like, that's always something people look forward to. Hey, none of us are producers here. Let's ask Jake.
It's just a really, really bad idea. I'd stick with the notebook.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I thought Jake coming back, maybe there would be a change of heart or something like that.
No.
No. Jake typically doesn't side with the Klan.
Yeah, that's true. Some other news and notes that came out of Fenway Fest. Garrett Whitlock, reliever. That's a thumbs up from everyone. Anyone opposed to that?
3 booms.
Oh, the biggest booms.
I love the multi-inning thing, too, that they're already locked into him working like he did in 2021. I need that. I think it was 31 out of 45 appearances that year were more than 3 outs. Give it to me.
You got some numbers, T, on the Whitlock starter bullpen thing?
Just kind of looking back at what he was in 2021 and when he started doing a little bullpen work in 2023 again, but it was a 2.65 ERA, 3.11 FIP as a reliever, as a starter to 4.29 ERA, 3.97 FIP. I will say, you go back to the 4 starts last year, he had a 1.96 ERA, 3.33 FIP. I think the stuff was always there, especially with the gyro slider. I don't know how they're going to incorporate this in his multi-inning role, how much his arsenal is going to kind of be reshaped again. But yeah, this is clearly the best move to keep him healthy and keep him right. And he seems excited about it. And the fact that you might be able to give your bullpen a full night off with him, once or twice a week, that seems like a pretty nice win and a pretty good weapon to have.
Wait, you mentioned the workout video. I'm gonna sit on this take. I don't want to say it. Never mind.
The workout video?
Yeah, the story camp video.
About me?
No, like we brought it up earlier, like the story camp video, and it had like I don't know what the song was, but the lyrics were like, "We never get hurt, we play every day," and it's just a bunch of guys that always get hurt.
Love that song.
Yeah,
that's my favorite song ever. Never get hurt.
Yeah. Find the video. There's lyrics in it that suggest like we post every day. We're always in the lineup. It's like, no.
I thought you were talking about the best day ever one. I was like, damn, Mac Miller.
We put together good at bats.
Maybe
we
it
take
is that
pitches
song.
on the
Honestly.
court.
No, I think it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't play the song in the show because then we'll get flagged.
We foul off.
There's
pitches.
Not a real song.
Huh?
You're not describing anything that's a real song, like a story rapping. I know he's got time.
No, it's that Mac Miller song. There's a line in it.
Do not disrespect best day ever.
I'm not disrespecting the song. There's just a line in there that like suggests like, we show up every day and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a bunch of guys in the video that just like don't do that.
That's definitely
We're
not
sitting on
your
this
song.
take, T.
You're going to
We're
sit
not
on it. You're
giving
not going to
it.
give the take. You're going to sit on it. That's fine.
We're sitting on the take. T.
I'm not giving the take.
No.
Am I supposed to have a take?
Where can I
Mac
find
Miller.
the video? Where can I
Mac
find the
Miller.
video, T?
Guy loved
On my Twitter.
0-2 curveball in the dirt. That was what Mac Miller was about.
He would rap about that all the time. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Get off my
I'll get the
plate.
IG handle. Hold on.
Where's the video, T?
I posted it. It's
Foul
been a
off
hot
that
minute.
tough pitch.
I mean-
Oh, here we
And
go.
foul
January
ball.
12th.
January 12th. When
This
are
was
all-
from one of their like actual
We're
like
giving
rehab
it
trainers.
all we got.
I'll find it.
It'll be the best day ever. That one?
No, dude.
Okay, there's no way then.
It's
I think we're
It's
something
talking
about
about-
a 3-2 count and the stress that brings on you.
Hmm. Hit
You
the
know the
ball
song?
on the triangle. Yeah, that's a triple.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Mac Miller joint.
Project. You tweet so fucking much, and it definitely was not on January 12th.
I
I'm
gotta
looking at
say,
it.
I don't know if this is the best time for tea time, but I'm just gonna say it real quick.
What is it?
I was putting my notes together, and I had next to nothing because just nothing's happened really in the last week. Like the Fenway Fest stuff is fair, and I'm scrolling through T's Twitter, and I'm like, I don't know if any of these could be segments. Like, I don't. This is the most random stuff of all time. But T, it's not.
The
It's not even.
the first line is "I never take a day off."
Yeah,
That's the
working
first
for the
fucking
song.
line.
Engineers
Pull it up.
getting paid off. They're working. I didn't take that as we're always hurt and our bodies are failing and broken.
It's just a little ironic that the line is "I never take a day off," and it's a bunch of dudes that
Yeah.
do not play a lot of games.
Vacationers. Yeah.
You're sitting on this take. You're not going to give this take.
I'm
Like,
not
if
giving
you-
the take. Don't
No,
ask me for the take. I'm
That was
not
the
giving
worst
it.
take I've ever heard.
We didn't give
No,
it.
it's
You didn't
called
give it.
irony, and there's funny, and I didn't give the take, so I don't know how you're
Rest in
judging
peace,
and
Mac
judging
Miller.
a take
No
that I
take
didn't
has
give.
happened at
I'm
all.
not
Yeah,
taking
no
Mac
take.
Miller slander.
Huh?
I'm not taking any Mac Miller slander here.
T, there was
Are
no
you
take.
fucking stupid?
No,
I'm
I
not
hear what
making
you're
fun of
saying.
Mac Miller.
But even just his artistry with
It
the
could
Red
have been
Sox video, it spoke
Tupac
to me.
saying, "I never take." Choosing those lyrics to put on a workout video for a bunch of players that do not play full seasons. "I never take a day off" is the first line. It has nothing to do with making fun. I love Mac Miller.
Wow. All right, that's all I needed to hear. And I will add, this is the second edition of Story Camp this offseason. There was one a couple weeks ago after the winter meetings with David Hamilton and Connor Wong, who apparently they both put weight on. Cora thinks David Hamilton's in the best shape of anyone going into camp. And he's going to play outfield.
I really want these guys to actually not take days off. I'm excited at the opportunity in front of these men in 2025. But you're not going to get that take out of me. So stop asking.
Sitting on it.
It's right under me.
Oh, yeah.
What else came out of Fenway Fest, T?
Beyond that, we had the Marcelo Meyer drama of him getting scratched. Chris Cotillo tweeted it out beforehand, and Red Sox Twitter just lost
These
their mind.
people are psychopaths. He was sick, and they're like, "Oh, here we go again, fragile Marcelo Meyer." It's like, bro is sick.
He's working
How
out
many
with Mikey
people-
Romero.
How many people around the world were sick all at the same time, and this dude doesn't get like a pass? Like, how many people that were giving Marcelo Meyer shit for being sick and not making it to Fenway Fest probably had someone in their house that was sick, or they were sick themselves sometime within the last 6 weeks? For shame.
And
For sure.
last year, he was like one of the main stars, if not the biggest star at that time, was him and Roman Anthony leading that prospect group when they were like, hey, look at these guys and Nick York, and Kyle Teal. He showed up. He did the whole damn thing. Like, I don't know. For me,
The whole damn thing.
if I was upset about anything initially, it was more Story Camp being like, damn, I know Trevor Story had reached out to him last year. He wasn't healthy and didn't want to do it. But you find out he's been sick. All right, well, that probably explains that one. That would be the one spot I'd care about him being, because, yeah, he could probably learn a lot from a guy like Trevor Story.
Yeah.
I thought this was the funniest thing. And one of the weirdest turns we've had, but the Masataka Yoshida stuff with Alex Cora just completely changing the whole narrative around him that we've had since spring training. And he goes, oh, no, we expect him to return to left field this upcoming season. The shoulder injury that he got operated on. Yeah, that was kind of what happened last year. And, we're telling you guys now, but hey, trust me, Masataka Yoshida, great ball player, can play a hell of a left field. We just stopped him. We just didn't play him for a week straight at that point while he was upset. And he talked about, it's a team strategy that they want to improve the defense. I understand it, but I'm disappointed. But hey, everyone was always in the loop here that they were protecting him from this shoulder injury, right? Trying to draw up trade interest, clearly.
You think?
Could it be more obvious? Did anyone think anything else?
They said, we're thinking about putting him in center. That's the conversation we've been having.
Yeah, they're like, if Trevor Story at any point goes down, this guy's our shortstop. There's a Japanese baseball fan Twitter account that hates us. Anytime we make any reference, obviously I'm translating it, but the tweets are always like, these old fucks, they need to, like, it's not funny. They're the reason why Japanese players won't sign with the Red Sox ever again, because they keep trying to trade Yoshida.
They literally said he's the best player on the team.
It's
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. They keep calling us old, and I'm like, man, I'm in the first year that I'm eligible to. I'm old enough to be president.
I can't even be president yet.
I want.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I got a long ways to go, brother.
T 2036. Hit
What?
me up.
When you can be president?
I think so. It's 11 years from now. I'll be 37.
Yeah, that's wrong. Who the fuck here is 37? Nobody.
I would be 37.
Yeah, no shit. That wouldn't be your.
Why wouldn't you just go to the right age?
Well, because I guess it would be an election year. What would be?
You have to be 34, right? I'd be 33.
All right, first of all, what the fuck are you talking about?
To run for president?
I thought that I made the mistake that
No.
you were just picking an election year. I don't know if that's an election year. It doesn't sound like it. It wouldn't be.
You said
even-
11 years.
2036.
No.
Yeah, it is.
That's
right.
an election year.
It is.
2037 is an election year?
I said
36. You
36.
said 36. Yeah. I think he's right, actually.
It's just 4 year, 2028,
Yeah, we just had an
2032,
election.
and 36.
I thought he said 37.
He said
You'll
would
be 37.
Yeah.
I would be, correct.
Trades, free agency, roster cuts. Baseball season feels so far away, but excitement is already building. Blue Moon gives you a dose of ballpark nostalgia without even being at the park. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. Its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantees a one-of-a-kind beer experience year-round. And let me tell you, I'm craving Blue Moon. The second I can have a Blue Moon, boy, I'm going to be sucking those things down. It's been a whole week of no Blue Moons for me, and it is probably the worst thing that's happened to me throughout this whole process. The pain of the surgery is nothing compared to the pain of not being able to drink a Blue Moon. So that first Blue Moon, that first celebratory Blue Moon, that's going to go down real smooth, real cold, real tasty. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that is one of a kind? Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Make winter weather feel like spring training. Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Suck one.
Thank you. I was also I have a bunch of people were taking pictures with Josh Winkowski and sending them to me. And I was like, to me, beef's dead. That was like a 2020 what 22 beef. What year is that? 22, 23?
23.
Wait,
When
none
you
of that
were-
happened on the 10.
No.
Yeah, that was pre-10.
You stood up for Winky last year when he was making those spot starts. You were defending him quite a bit.
You
were
got
saying,
your 200th suspension for shit talking Winky.
Listen, no one
That's
was
right.
a better or a bigger Winky guy than me in 2023. A truther from spring training who told you he was going to have a very good relief
Up
season.
truther, check it off on your bingo card.
Ugh, damn it. But yeah, no, I think at this point in time, he'll be lucky if he's the last guy in the bullpen. More likely sitting in AAA.
All right, we didn't need that.
It's the truth.
That's fine. Trying to think of like what else happened.
So
Can I mention something real quick here?
Yeah, Steve, mention something real quick here.
And this was noticed right after we recorded the last podcast, but Rafael Devers liking our promo that said he should be the DH and Alex Bregman should be the third baseman. I mean, to me, that's something. There's something there.
Cora dropped the second base thing with Bregman multiple times at Fenway Fest 2, saying we think he's a Gold Glove second baseman.
And he said that all offseason. You know, he keeps mentioning that. So, yeah. I mean, you had no reaction to that, Jerry?
I mean, I had a reaction. It wasn't the same as yours because that could easily be like I see this, fuck you.
Right.
That's how I took it.
Oh, yeah. No, and most people, I feel like a big part of the reaction was like, no, trust me. He saw that and was like, I can play third base. This does not mean, you know, I should be a DH. But I'm always trying to, in that scenario, picture how I expect that player to be consuming the content. And I picture Raffy just kind of sitting on the couch, probably in his boxers or something, just scrolling, and then comes across that and watches it because he notices he's part of the promo and then kind of double taps. I don't think he's like furiously watching that as like, oh my God, they don't think that I can play third base. Like, I'll show them. That doesn't really give me Raffy vibes at all. So I don't know. I'm being optimistic by thinking that means he's okay with it. I was surprised that MLB Network ran with that. I'm like, God, that shows you how little is going on right now that they use that as a whole segment. Like Lowell then broke down the whole thing. Mikey Lowell, by the way, awesome. And the fact we haven't had him on here, we got to have him on here as soon as we can.
Jake, book Mike Lowell.
Mike Lowell would be great. But yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Wait.
Yeah, Jerry?
Was it you, Steve, that made the Mike Lowell comparison to the Nolan Arb? That was you?
Yeah. Brought it up.
Okay.
On here.
So I stole that from you and put it in a tweet. And then there's another, I guess, podcast that then said I stole that take from them. And I was like, hand up. I stole it. But I stole it from Steve.
Steve was the first
like,
one
the most offensive accusation that you could levy against me is accusing me of listening to your podcast. I, under no circumstances, would ever listen to that.
That podcast claims they've originated every take in this community for like the last 3 or 4 years. Anytime there's a take that gets any popularity, they say they were the first one to say it. Nobody's listening.
It's always like it's they all started as Section 10 fans, and now they try to be the why can't I say that word? Antithesis. They're like, oh, well, they're too positive about the team, so we're the podcast that just shits on them all the time. Sign up and listen to a bunch of Red Sox fans that fucking hate the Red Sox. But yeah, I just want to double check to make sure that you said it, because that's where I got it from. Like I will give you my entire life net worth savings. I did not listen to your shitty podcast. Like there was one point where like they're obsessed with us. Like they'll tweet like the fucking iTunes charts and be like, like we're like almost as big as like they'll tweet out like the fucking charts in like Sudan and be like, look, we're the number 2 Red Sox podcast in this European country. It's like, all right, dude. There's one time they tweeted out that they like
were like higher, 70th.
They had like a higher podcast ranking than Call Him Poppy. And it was like 9 months after we canceled the show. So like no one was listening or downloading. They're like, we beat him out. We beat him. It's like, okay. Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to double check that I got that from you. Cause I was like, I know I didn't listen to their show, but I know I got it from someone that I do a podcast with.
Yeah, now you got it from the show that you are on, but
yeah, I know I listened to this one.
I listened to this show, and it happened here. I promise you that much.
Guaranteed.
But in summary, I can't picture Rafael Devers watching that promo and like fuming and being like, I'm gonna show them. So it might be somewhere in between where he's just kind of a, hey, just so you know, I'm paying attention to this stuff, and I don't not see this. Raffy, by the way, likes nothing. I never see Raffy liking anything. So the fact that he popped up on our IG is a big deal. And then some people
floated, it was a collab post with my account. He follows me, so that's why I saw it.
There you go. But still, you don't see Raffy likes going around that often.
He's not a social media manager guy.
Well, that's the thing. People are floating like, oh, well, someone else runs it. No, someone else does it. He has 2 posts on his account. Someone else does not run his account. Like he doesn't give a damn about his account.
Yeah, the only thing you ever see is like when he's hanging out and he's like on his farm and he's like, hey, this is like what's going on at the farm today. Like clearly Raffy's the one making those pictures happen.
By the way, that's been one of my favorite things of the offseason, Rafael Devers' IG stories, because they're so random. It'll just be like, here's a horse while it's raining. It has nothing to do with anything. And if anything, that further proves that it's Rafael Devers running it.
It's definitely Devers running it. I don't know how much I would read into him. Like, I will say this, the only time I really ever recall him liking anything is like, they're usually Section 10 promos. Like, he's not just like liking pictures of fucking train. You know what I'm saying? He's not like T just slobbering over the two goats.
On IG.
Why not? The fuck? You come to her house and you don't give her the respect?
I will follow her respectfully.
I don't think I want you doing that.
Okay. You don't have to do that.
No, it's fine. You can. I don't give a fuck.
So you guys think you lean towards that was I'll show them I can play third.
Like receipts.
I leave the door open to that possibility.
Yeah.
I'm not going to convincingly say one or the other, but I have to leave the door open for that possibility because I don't know that he would be like, oh, they think I can't field?
But you guys don't do that. Like when someone tweets something at me and it's just like really dickish, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm going to like this just so I can acknowledge what you wrote.
I'm letting you know that I saw it.
But
I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of a response, but I'm liking it to let you know, like, fuck you. I saw this, but like,
exactly.
I'm ignoring you.
I got to say, though, per usual on this show, we do not go out of our way to be dickish about players. And that promo was not dickish about Raffy. It was just being real. Like Jerry had a point of, like, Rafael Devers does not just wake up and say, hey, can't wait to field. Like, no, he can't wait to hit. And if anything, that's complimenting him. He's one of the greatest hitters in Red Sox history. Like, this is not going out of our way to be like, yo, you suck in the field, dude. It's more, we think you'd probably prefer just hitting. Okay.
Since we're on the topic of Rafael Devers, it feels like a good place to have the discussion about the Rafael Devers did not go to Fenway Fest. He never does. And so I know it bothers people within the Red Sox that he's not more forward facing, that he's not more like basically the Dominican Wally is apparently what it sounds like they want him to be.
That image looks funny.
But no, you're nailing it. That's exactly what they want him to be.
My argument is because you know what?
He's in the car that Jared had in high school. Like,
That'd be sick.
You and Dominican Wally, that'd be awesome. Anyway,
I'm always down to have conversations with people on Twitter. I'm not one of those people that just throws tweets out and then doesn't look at the reply. Like, I look at my replies, and if I feel like I can have an intelligent conversation with you, then I'll engage. And there was a gentleman from Saugus who disagreed with me, older, so I didn't know him. But he disagreed with my stance of like, I don't give a fuck that he doesn't go to fan fests, and I don't care that he doesn't like, do these media things and whatever. Like, it doesn't bother me. The only thing I care about is if he hits homers. That's the only thing I care about.
He was scheduled to go. I do think it's important to clarify.
He's always scheduled to go. He's always on the list, and then he's not.
Too much.
Yeah. So he doesn't go, and then there's some people that are upset about that, which I get. If you're like, I bought a ticket to this to see Rafael Devers, you advertised him, and now he's not coming. I get those fans that are upset. I was pushing back against the fans that like think that it's a bad look or it's the optics of it are bad, and you didn't even go to Fenway Fest and you didn't spend money and thinking that you were going to go see Rafael Devers. Those fans, to them, I say, Devers was never that guy. You can't just sign the player to a huge contract and say, you're the longest tenured player, you are the highest paid player, therefore you must be the face of the franchise, you must speak to the media, you must be the Dominican Wally and go to the fan events and take picturs with everyone and sign autographs until you can't feel your fingers anymore. I get like some people, they take it upon themselves. They're like, this is my responsibility now with this contract. I feel like part of me earning this money is to be that guy. Devers is like, I got paid to hit homers, so I'm going to hit homers and doubles. And that's what he does. To me, he fulfills his obligation to the Boston Red Sox and to the fans. It's like, if you're not that guy, then you're not that guy. The money doesn't make you that guy. So if you The only time I would ever have an issue with that is if you were that guy, got the bag, and then just decided, I'm too good for this. I don't need to shake hands, kiss babies, and sign baseballs anymore. I got my bag, so I don't have to be the nice guy anymore and whatever. He just was never that guy. So it was always Xander. Xander was that guy for him, and Mookie, and there were other faces of the franchise that took on that role, and Devers was never asked to do it and never participated in it. Now he's the only like star player on the team. Now, I guess position player, like Duran is now taking that upon himself. Like he would love to be that guy, but because of the money and the tenure and the World Series ring, everyone's like, nope, it has to be Raffy. It's like, well, does it?
Duran's also one of those guys who doesn't seem super comfortable in these kind of, situations where there's a lot of people and you kind of have to be not introverted, right? But what bothers me about the Rafael Devers thing here is, the Red Sox look at him and feel like he should, or why aren't you doing this? You paid Rafael Devers because he was the last thing holding your franchise together here. He was the last guy. If he left, you lost all credibility for your organization. You said you were keeping 2 out of 3 of Xander, Mookie, and Devers. You got all the way to the end with Devers, and you barely got it done and were able to hold on to him. If you valued that leadership so much, you shouldn't have done what you did to Xander Bogaerts. You weren't willing to give him the Jose Altuve extension. If that was so important, you felt like you needed that leader in the clubhouse, boom, that was a guy who was willing to be that guy over and over again. And I'll say on Rafael Devers, over the last year, he has grown in a lot of ways. What he did last spring training gets forgotten very quickly. He was the guy who stood up and called out the front office and said they weren't, giving us what we needed. He got on there the first couple days of spring training. He posted all season. He was hurt before the season started, posted all the way through the year, well beyond the point he should have been through multiple injuries. He is the guy who consistently, especially with a lot of the Latin American players on the team, puts his arm around them. You remember Brian Bayo when he first came up and he was struggling. Devers was the guy sitting next to him in the dugout and getting him through. Tristan Casas has talked about Devers putting his arm around him and kind of coaching him up. You've seen the dinner pictures out with, a lot of the younger players with him, acting like he doesn't fulfill these leadership duties because he doesn't give you the cliche quote after a game when things are going wrong, or, at Fenway Fest, he didn't show up for that. Yeah, in a perfect world, he is that guy, but he's not. But he shows up, he produces, and he acts like a leader with his teammates. That's what you ask for. You want a leader? Go pay for one. And there's one sitting out there in Alex Bregman who will be the face for you, who will go do all that shit for you. You want it that bad? You have the money to go and get it. Stop trying to force a guy who just isn't that guy into that position. As long as he shows up and does his job and he's a good teammate, what more do you want from him? It's not his fault that he was the last guy standing because you didn't take care of what was around him. It's not him. It's not on him to do that.
Like, they're lucky to have Rafael Devers. They're lucky that he signed the contract. Now, obviously, a big part of the fan base would say, like, he's lucky to make that money to just be a hitter. And I get that part of it, too. But the Xander element's very important factor here because Xander and Raffy were a combo deal. Like, they were best buddies. And anytime they did all-star availability, which is like my favorite thing, my favorite moment of the year is being able to do that. They would always sit next to each other. They would always kind of show up together. Like, everything they did was together. And so when they were doing media stuff, it was always like, I'm here with my best buddy, basically my brother, Xander Bogaerts. And if anything gets uncomfy, it doesn't matter because, somebody I'm very comfortable with and very close with is right next to me the whole time. I don't know who he's tightest with on the team right now. Like, who do you think? Is it Bayo?
Rafael Bayo, yeah.
Rafael, yeah, okay. So I guess
Casas,
he's playing the big brother role to them a little bit, but obviously he doesn't have that Xander guy anymore. He doesn't have somebody that, he can go to these events with and feel like, okay, well, at least, we're going to be there together. I feel like we've always had people where it's like, hey, are you going to this thing? You better be, because I don't really want to go to this thing. That's Rafael Devers for a lot of these events. He's always been a shy guy. Like, that's who he is. He doesn't really want to do media stuff. And to your point, when he's doing the spring training media, it's pretty rare. It's not like you get a bunch of those availabilities with Rafael Devers. And then when you do, we've mentioned it on this show before, the language barrier is a big thing. It's really hard to relate. He's uncomfy, and it's hard to relate when you're not speaking English. And, a lot of the fans kind of want to know exactly what you're saying, and you're getting that translated version of it. And that he's not fully, he gets some blame for that, by the way. Like, I will give him some blame for that because I know he knows the language and he can speak the language and he chooses not to. But yeah, anyone that's pissed off that he's not doing these events is it's never who he was. You shouldn't be that upset. Just, yeah, to your point, Tyler, Pay for somebody that can be the fit. Get Alex Bregman. He can do all that stuff, and he'll do it every year for you, happily.
If he didn't give a fuck to be a good teammate and put his arm around guys and call out the front office, then I'd have a problem. He fulfills all those duties. He stepped up in that way because he's not signing babies. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't get overly upset. In a perfect world, he is that guy. He isn't that guy. That's just not who he is personally.
I signed a baby at Red Sox winter weekend.
Me too. Cole, you too.
I'd sign one.
Cole,
Yeah. Sign him first.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Forehead?
No.
No. Can't
Hey.
be touching babies' heads.
Never signed a baby before.
Yeah, well, you'll get there. Coley, what's your take on this?
Devers?
Mm-hmm.
I like him.
Hits
I don't
all
understand
now.
people who don't. I think it's a waste of time to say negative things about Rafael Devers.
I don't think anyone
Massive.
doesn't like him. I think it's just
No, that's not true. The Red Sox, like I keep thinking about this offseason and just the grandiose amount of ways they've fucked up, and poisoning a portion of the fan base towards Rafael Devers is a thing they've accomplished this offseason. I've seen him called multiple times selfish, not because he didn't go to this, but because he won't get off third base. That is the narrative right now. He is holding them back. Because
when has he ever
refuses-
said he won't though?
Yeah, he still hasn't
Exactly. And that's no, he's never said that. He would
Yeah.
probably never would. But that's where the narrative is right now. There are people who are looking at him in his contract only and thinking he won't get off third base. And he's the reason Alex Bregman isn't here because he refuses to get off of third. So
Those
the Red
people are
Sox-
stupid. I don't know that there are very many of those people. I think most of the people that are looking at the Alex Bregman situation know it's because the Red Sox are just not offering him American currency, which they still haven't, by the way.
Some I've
At
seen
all?
plenty of people.
Hypothetically, I don't know.
Yeah, this is
I
a
don't,
guess.
I have no
Yeah, you
fucking
wouldn't-
idea,
you
dude.
wouldn't know shit.
Dude, I got surgery. How the fuck am I supposed to know? Actually, the only thing I will say is the day before the surgery, I specifically asked Bregman to not sign the next day while I was like, if you sign while I'm under anesthesia, there's going to be a fucking problem. And he's like, don't worry about it. So I knew he wasn't going to sign. That's happened twice. When I flew to Disney, I had FaceTimed him in the airport before I got on the plane. I was like, I'm going to Disney. Don't sign. Don't sign until I land. And then the day before the surgery, I was like, I'm going to be under tomorrow, so don't sign. He said, fine.
You know that if he did sign, though, T would have used the Rafaela's lover account Photoshop or whatever the handle is. Shout out to that account. I did follow.
Shout out to
Enjoyer.
Raphael Enjoyer.
Thank you.
Enjoyer. There we go.
Enjoyer. Yeah.
You know, T would have used that immediately, even though Corey would have cooked up a great one. And already, maybe already has.
Oh, I've
Oh,
posted a lot of
shit.
underdog photoshops. Excuse me. They've been up there since the
A
top.
lot. Some T. Some.
Can't use the same picture every time.
All right. Tyler?
Thank you. That picture you took with the nurse is great meme material. I have it in my phone. It's taken a lot for me not to use it yet, but I can see the format, the full. You have to be a real sick motherfucker to enjoy, and whatever it is in that.
To save a picture of a nurse on your phone? Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
Jared and a nurse. It's different.
She is one of Train's best friends. That's why,
Shout out
if you
Train.
notice, I'm not taking the picture. She is. We were just at the New Year's Eve wedding. She was there. She's married to, when I was a junior in high school, the senior captain for the baseball team. So I've known him forever. And then we were in the photo booth and I posted pictures on my Instagram. And she got pissed because she's like, I looked like shit in those pictures and you posted them on your Instagram. So then she came over and took that picture while I was fucking dead. And she was like, post that. I was like, all right, fine. I don't give a fuck.
I was concerned at first that it was just you and some nurse, just random, just
Yeah. No, I've known her
Yeah,
for a long time.
that was my
yeah.
first thought. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This might end up being
Yeah.
a combo.
Yeah, no, it's Train's like best friend. And I played baseball with her brother forever. I've known her forever. Actually, I got her father owns a tattoo shop. I got like my first tattoo at her father's tattoo shop. Yeah. So I've
Was this
I've
at
known her
Saugus
for a while.
Hospital?
It was the hospital I was born in. Hospital I almost died in, T. Almost fucking died right on there on the operating table. They took one look at my piece and they were like, we gotta helicopter in some blood.
Get the saw.
We gotta go now. We don't have a lot of time. We gotta get half this thing off of this guy's body.
Yeah, like, man. We gotta.
What was gonna happen, by the way, if they didn't reduce it? It was just gonna like explode or something.
Yeah,
or?
it was gonna explode. Yeah, I was gonna bleed out, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do in that spot. So, but it was a success. It was a success.
There you go.
Yeah, they say only 7% of people survive from a surgery like that. So I feel very lucky today.
How many do they do a year?
A year?
Correct.
Google's telling me 850.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So not a lot. Yeah. That's worldwide. That's not US.
No, for sure. There's not that many pieces out there.
No. God.
790 people a year die from this procedure.
Yes.
Big dick disease. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. BDD. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. What were we talking about before that?
Devers is
Raffy.
good.
Devers
is awesome.
Speaking of which,
everyone should like him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yes, we were talking about Bregman and how I think most fans are aware he's not on the team because the Red Sox just aren't giving him money. I don't think the people are like, God damn it, Raffy. If you would just give up third base, we could sign Bregman, but you won't do it. But I think if Bregman were to sign tomorrow, he would be the second baseman.
Yeah,
I think he would be.
Pretty easy.
Figure it out later. Injuries are going to happen. Someone's going to need some time at DH.
Yeah.
There were, I got to ask you guys this, because there were some folks losing their mind over a tweet I put out there. I'm going to ask you guys. We're here.
Ask us the question, dude.
Yeah, we're all hanging out. I'm going to ask it like right now. Can I ask it right now?
Yeah.
T.
No, go ahead. I thought there was going to be a moment for me to get in there and cook.
Cook what?
Yeah, what are you going to cook, T?
I was just going to mention in this conversation, I think it's somewhat important that Trevor Story was campaigning for Nolan Arenado.
Well, I basically put a tweet out there that was like, if the Red Sox sign Alex Bregman, they immediately become a favorite to make the World Series.
That's strong.
I agree.
That's strong.
The amount of folks that are like, oh, you think they're going to be the favorites to win the World Series? A favorite to make the World Series. You can have multiple favorites to make the World Series, right?
Who do you think
Where
AL?
would you have him? Third?
Dude, the odds right now of the Orioles as the second team to come out of the AL, they would absolutely be past the Orioles in my mind.
The Orioles are a good team.
They have their rotation.
They don't have Burns. Santander's not coming back.
Yeah.
I don't think the Orioles are going to be that great. They might be a wild card team.
They have fucked up this offseason more than any team, I think.
You think the Red Sox would be second?
I think they'd be second if they got Bregman. I do.
In the AL,
yeah.
Yep.
I'm concerned we all have a different first.
I'd have the Yankees right now as my number one.
That's
crazy. The Yankees.
Who would you have?
Rangers.
The Rangers.
Rangers. I agree. I think they're gonna have a big bounce back year. I'm not out on that.
The Rangers are much better than the Yankees, roster wise, like top to bottom. Much better.
They just need a lot of health things to go.
And they don't have to do the whole coming off the World Series.
I think the Yankees need way more to go right. The Yankees infield is awful. Awful. It's the worst Yankees infield of my life.
Oswaldo at third.
That's the big thing. They need to find
Volpe at short. Who's their second baseman now? Jazz. Are they putting
the Marlins
DJ at
moved
first?
off second. No, they got Goldschmidt, who wanted to retire at the end of the year.
Yeah, he's a fucking retired guy.
Bullpen should be
Austin
very strong,
Wells
though.
catching. Their outfield is Judge, Sheffield, and Gardner.
Dominguez.
Belly.
And
Dominguez sucks.
Belly's going to be a good fit in that ballpark.
He's not.
Probably not.
Really? You guys don't think so?
No, I told him to stop being good.
I don't think he's going to be 2023 Bellinger.
Imagine him telling Boone, like, sorry, Jared said I can't be good here. So
yeah, he said just mail it in, dude.
Fuck. I was hoping you could talk to that kid.
He gets one of those he can use a year. Now I have to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Yankees or Rangers. I'd be fine with anyone saying that they would be ahead of the Sox. But if you get Bregman, you're immediately up there.
If the Rangers' young talent hits their ceiling, that's a scary team, yeah.
I mean, Langford was kind of cooking at the end of the season. Obviously, he played like a rookie before that.
Evan Carter was so important to their playoff run, and his back just went out last year.
Right.
Yeah.
But they also, like, their whole rotation went down. They just had a very weird season. I think they're going to be horrifying this year.
It's just you
Truly
look at their rotation, and you have two guys who are injury prone at the top. I love Nate Eovaldi, but he's someone who's going to spend some time on the IL, and then Jacob deGrom, who hasn't been healthy in years.
No.
Then it's Tyler Mahle, John Gray, Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter.
Bro, did you watch Kumar last year though?
Did look good. I'm not out on Kumar Rocker, but that rotation, I would take the Red Sox rotation.
He looked more than good.
Yeah, I'm not anti Kumar Rocker, even though I wasn't super high on him
earlier in the podcast. Kind of hard to say.
Whoa, whoa. I was not a big Kumar Rocker guy in the draft. I can own that.
Why? Which time? The first or second?
First time. I was worried about injuries. That whole shoulder situation scared the shit out of me.
I guess I think his situation became much worse after the fact. Like it was Kumar Rocker, a guy that I wouldn't like. I think we were obsessed with Kumar leading up to that. Like I was ready to ruin Coley's wedding over Jack Leiter or Kumar Rocker.
Love Jack Leiter. Oh,
got neither, but did get Marcelo Meyer. So
hard to argue the path, even though my guy was not picked.
Who was drafted third?
Is it Lawler?
No, wasn't he?
2021 draft.
It was the catcher that doesn't catch.
Jackson
Job. Yeah, Job.
Tigers.
Oh, Job. Okay.
Kowser was fifth. Lawler,
Job got
sixth.
called up last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end.
Melted down in the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Henry Davis was first overall. His stock is in the fucking garbage can.
Jackson Merrill.
I don't care. Oh my god, look at that.
Yeah, the Jackson Merrill.
Looks like I got poop on my hand.
You look like you just wiped your ass with the front of your hand.
God,
quick little hand poop.
That's part of the procedure. They say that does happen occasionally.
Yeah.
They bruise you on the IV?
Oh, yeah. You get poop on your hand.
Oh,
they blew up the whole vein.
My mom gets upset about that.
What was I just saying? Oh, Henry Davis. Yeah, I still believe in Henry Davis. I do.
Pirates don't.
Just let the guy hit.
Yeah. Jake, book Ben Cherington. I want to figure out where we're at on Henry Davis.
They also took him because they wanted to spread the money out, and they knew they could get him under slot.
Come on.
For sure. It was super helpful for us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be a fascinating conversation on the 10 if we did get Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Hell yeah.
He spans generations.
He does.
And he was very important in the moves he didn't make.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Ben Cherington there when Dan Duquette was there?
He wasn't a Theo guy?
I thought it was
he was under Theo, and I think he was there when Duquette was there.
1999.
There you go, motherfucker.
Boom.
Yeah.
That is
he was there for Duquette. He was there for Theo. He was there for himself. He was there for Hazen. And I'm pretty sure, when did he bounce? Did he bounce? He bounced when Dombrowski came in.
And they tried to keep him. Remember? They were like, hey, you can be the number 2 here.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I won a World Series here.
That sucked because Ben's a great guy.
UMass
Smart
Amherst.
baseball guy.
There you go, Cole.
Could stand in the pressure of public opinion and just say, like, you people are fucking so wrong. I'm not going to do this and be correct. So I have the utmost respect for Cherington.
Sure. How do we feel about Breslow so far?
Bad. Yeah.
Steve?
That's how I feel, actually. Kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's been fine to me. He hasn't wowed me, but
fine.
he also hasn't disappointed me.
He's been fine. I think that the tough
he
part
hasn't
is that
disappointed you with the Bregman thing?
Like
just make him a fucking
I'll wait
offer.
to the off season until I'm upset over it fully because, hey, I think the Ken Rosenthal thing with him talking, I did it again, damn it. With Ken Rosenthal being like, no, the Red Sox are playing this game of chicken. Either you're going to look like a genius at the end of it and we'll all say, holy shit, Breslow played the market perfectly, or he ends up taking that deal, especially if it's a short-term deal.
Taking what
with the
deal,
Cubs.
though? Like, don't you have to put an offer on the table to play the game of chicken?
But I don't know if they're going to sit here and, step up at some point and kind of go crazy and just be like, hey, we're willing to get in.
Hey.
Because there's something there. They're interested. Would you say they're interested?
The Red
Jared?
Sox? No, I wouldn't.
None?
I wouldn't.
I'm
I
not
think
saying that they're.
Cora's
I'm not-
interested.
Cora is super
Yeah.
interested.
Is there
But how is
aligned
it's not
communication on
Breslow's
him?
money though? This is what kills me. It's like if it was Breslow's money, I think they would have had an offer out there by now. No, I mean we don't talk about that connection enough.
Here's what's happening between the Red Sox and Alex Bregman. The Red Sox are a fuckboy that is. They don't want to date Alex Bregman, but they're like booty calling him.
Exactly.
Like,
That's all I'm
they're
saying.
not
There's
like,
something
hey,
there.
I want to take you home to meet my parents. Hey, let me take you on a date. Hey, let me court you because I really want you to see how much I want you. They're literally just like calling late night, being like, hey, babe, what's up? I've had fucking 20 tequila sodas. You want to come suck my nuts? Like that's what they're doing.
Breslow's saying. Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Like they're not like there's no courtship. There's no let me make you feel wanted. That's not happening. So yes, I guess if you're keeping in touch with the player, then there's a baseline level of interest, but is it interest to where the player feels wanted and like this is going to happen? No, Cole.
Well, it kind of more feels like they're negging Bregman because the way they're reading the situation seems to be like, you're not going home with the Blue Jays, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to
And you're now
Detroit.
talking about with the Cubs about a short term, like maybe 3 or 4 year deal. Like
I'm not
that's-
worried about the Cubs. If we start
Agreed.
getting into
No.
short-term
But
territory, then
if those
yeah,
are the
you're
calls that
coming
are
home
happening
with-
now,
with-
it's
with
trending
Breslow.
towards that. Is that what gets them up? And then you sign him for the Matt Chapman deal, 3 years, 54. It'd be higher AAV for Bregman. But like, if you pull that off, you end up looking pretty damn good. If you miss out on him and this team, as we know, Cora and Kennedy wanted Bregman, and you're not a 90 to 95 win team, yeah, then we're going to piss on Breslow.
Well, Jerry.
You can go, Steve. You have a point on this because I was going to change the subject.
No,
for a second.
my point was going to be kind of piggybacking off of yours. If you're going to do the whole tequilas and all that, like I think the Sox are
ball
waiting
sucking.
for a little ball sucking. I think
Yeah.
the Sox are waiting for the lights to come on at the bar, and then they're going to kind of decide like, do I still want to do this? Maybe like because Rosenthal putting that out there of like, oh, they might be playing chicken, might be waiting out. I think when it's January 15th. Like the only thing you can be doing at this point is waiting it out. Like we've had months of the offseason. It's not like at this point you're going to be like, all right, now is when we're going to give them our serious offer that we were planning on doing all offseason. No, that would have happened by now. So we're getting close to opt-out zone. Like that's what, coming up here in the next couple of weeks, I would feel like Bregman wants to sign. He doesn't want to be another one of these Boris guys that has to start the season late. There's no way he wants to do that. He seems like a schedule-oriented dude, wants to be at a new location, start off strong, get to know his new teammates, and really be off to the races. I don't think he wants this to get into February. So anyone that signs him now has kind of already played the waiting game. Like we've already done that. Like we haven't, we've already crossed that bridge. Now it's whatever offer he's going to get. Hopefully here that he can take. But Jerry, and I know you're just throwing out hypotheticals, no offer by January 15th is kind of crazy. If you
that would
all
be crazy
player.
if that were the case. Yeah.
But if you all want the player and you haven't done an offer by now, little absurd.
With the Castillo thing, though, right? We got the report from him a couple days ago, and this did stand out to me. Unlike last year when they told high-dollar free agents they needed to move money to engage Teoscar Hernandez, the Red Sox, per sources, are telling some free agents they are prioritizing some bigger money pursuits before circling back to the middle and bottom of the market. So I don't know. I'm not telling you to take that and believe they're going to go sign Bregman, but it feels like we're getting more signs they're trying to wait him out. It's either going to blow up in your face or you look great. And I'll give my judgment on the offseason in Breslow when that plays out, because I think that is the key to you becoming a World Series contender right now.
But I think it's unfair to assume that means sign a free agent. You can spend money without signing a free agent. That
Sure.
could
Yeah.
easily
If you
be
trade for a piece that is equal to Bregman or maybe fits
If you
better or
extend
however.
Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, extending or
I don't think
Campbell
it's
or
extending
Anthony.
Crochet. I really don't. I don't think that number is going to be like outrageously large.
Well, he did say that they've talked to him at least.
No,
right?
no, I'm saying I know they better fucking.
He's
do that,
signing.
but I'm saying I don't think that money is what they're talking about. I don't think they're talking about the Crochet money.
I don't either. And that's where it could be via a trade where they take on a guy who's making $20 million and Seiya Suzuki. I don't know. Pick a name. Could fit in different ways.
And Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong here, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but
Mhm.
obviously you have some hypothetical info.
Mhm.
With Bregman, I gotta think that around now or within the next week or two, he's gonna look at this as like, all right, well, if we're gonna sign a deal that has opt-outs, I'm okay with that because I looked at next year's free agent third base class. It's kind of like this year's. There's really not that much. It's Eugenio Suarez, Max Muncy, and Gio Urshela. Like those are the three guys that he's competing with at that division. Then second base is kind of the same. Those guys, by the way, are all going to be in their mid-30s, and Bregman starts the season next year, 2026, at 32. So I don't think it's the end of the world for him if he signs a deal that has an opt-out, that has him back in the free agent class again next year. Because I genuinely believe he's the type of dude that wants to just get going and know where he's going to be playing and really, start the season off strong instead of have to play this stupid waiting game of trying to, pray for a 5-6 year deal.
And if you're going to sit here and go to a place for a year, do you want to go to Chicago or do you want to go to Boston for a year? What's better if you need to have a platform season offensively?
Yeah, and he posts. Like, he plays all the time. His first 3 seasons, he averaged 156 games played. His last 3, 154. So, he is constantly out there. Whatever the production is, maybe come down a little bit. But durability-wise, he's going to post. He's going to play 150-plus games this year and have a really good chance, depending on where he is, hopefully here, of putting up big numbers where he could get that big contract next offseason. I just highly doubt that he's going to want this to get towards Valentine's Day and still not know where he's going.
The alarms are going off. If you're already discussing a short-term deal with opt-outs, your brain has already said, yeah, what the Blue Jays and the Blue Jays have offered for me, it's not really doing it. What the Tigers have offered me is not really doing it. So you're considering plan B, plan C, plan D. That's where, and it'll be even more insulting if the Red Sox don't get in at that point, because it's all right, it checks off even more boxes. This isn't 6 years or 7 years like we were worried about, where the last year or two might look rough. There's no downside to a 4 or 5 year deal for him.
Wouldn't he have signed already? If those deals were anywhere close to what he wanted, if he was just trying to get money or whatever, he clearly wants to win. He wants to win. Jerry, he wants to win.
He wants to win. He is thinking legacy. He is thinking the exact opposite of what Pablo Sandoval is thinking. I've already won my rings. I've already proven everything I need to prove. Let me just get the bag and go wherever the fuck the most money is and then turn my career into shit. Bregman's how do I level up? I've already won 2 rings. Where can I go that best fits my hitting profile and put up even greater numbers while also having the chance to win? And that would be here.
And you get to be the leader. You come here and it's your team.
You don't need to convince him.
I know. And that's the whole thing. And that's just where I sit here, where now we have the Ken Rosenthal's of the world saying, this is seemingly the game they're playing here. There's something connecting them. It's just the Red Sox going to get serious. You either look great or you look stupid. But that's where they are in this. And somehow, if I had told you 2 months ago we got to this point, you would have said, I don't think so. Someone's going to cough up and he'll sign that 6 or 7 year deal. No, it didn't work out that way. He is now sitting here waiting.
Now that we've kind of got most of Red Sox Nation in on Bregman to Boston, this has the it's similar to Price to Boston, where because at the time I thought when David Price signed with the Red Sox that I was like, fuck, I have the relationship with this dude, we're gonna be doing Section 10, we're gonna be doing we didn't do anything when he came here. I'm telling you right now, if Bregman signs with the Red Sox, he's on the 10 that night. That night. We would do an emergency podcast and he would be on the fucking show that night. So yeah, selfishly, I want it to happen because it would be big for the show. I think it would be big for his career, obviously looking at the numbers at Fenway Park. And just, I think it would light a fire under Alex Cora, where it's all right, finally, you got a guy that I'm telling you, I'm trying to help build the roster, and I'm telling you what we need to, because he was saying on Nesson during the Fenway Fest, he's like, the vibes are different this time around because we know we're a good team. He wasn't saying Bregman's name. But he's like, we're missing a white dude that went to LSU that won a couple championships in Houston that played third base and hits right-handed and maybe could play a little second base if he came here. If anyone knows any player like that, that'd be huge for us. We're missing that guy, and if we get that guy, then we're a big threat. But we already feel like we're a pretty good team.
Caliber guy, not anything specific, just that kind of guy.
Yeah, we're missing that caliber of player that fits that mold. So, yeah, I think it just, how many respected journalists have to come out and say this is a perfect fit? How many big name national writers are still linking the Red Sox to Alex Bregman and vice versa, even though they haven't even fucking allegedly, hypothetically made an offer?
But there's booty calls going on.
There's booty calls.
That's something.
There's yeah.
Imagine if there were actual
this
booty
isn't them
calls
just
going on. They
being like-
wanted to hook up with Alex Bregman. Like it had nothing to do with the contract.
But like that, there's
Baseball
something in that.
pass, but
Why?
Yeah.
Like, why are you making the
anal
booty call?
sex.
I don't want
fucking-
some sex. If you want to like hook up, like we're down, but we don't want
If
to.
you're trying to fuck, like we'll absolutely destroy a hotel room. Like deposit gone, long
The
gone.
deposit gone. We owe money. We owe
Yeah.
on top of the
Yeah.
deposit.
Howard Johnson's gonna be at my door asking for that money.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more, I guess. If this is the spectrum, and this is, I'm super excited because it's going to happen, and this is, I've completely given up. I'm somewhere in the middle on the I give up side,
25%.
on the give up side, but about as close to the middle as you can get while still being on that give up side of the spectrum.
So a 49 out of 100.
That's a big difference from where you were a couple weeks ago when you said it was below the 11% we gave to Juan Soto.
So here's where I'm at. Like, if you lay out all the facts here, the biggest fact, he's still out there. That's the biggest one. He's still out there. The Tigers, I feel like they must have offered something somewhat. It's all relative, right? Like if you're out there looking for 7 years, $200 million, that ship has sailed. That's not happening. The deal's not going to be that. So now what are we talking? Are we talking 5-year deals? Are we talking 4-year deals? Are we talking 3-year deals with options? Are we talking a 1-year deal? Are we talking a 1-year deal?
It's like Pete Alonso, though. It's a similar situation.
Right, but anything once you get below 5, let's say,
oh my God,
let's say he doesn't have 5, 6, or 7. Let's say he doesn't have that. The Red Sox have no excuse to not be involved.
None.
And in my opinion, they have no excuse to not land the player if we're in the 1 to 4 year range.
Agreed. I think 5 years.
But I'm just saying, like, let's just say that it's we're fielding offers between 1 and 4 years, and some include opt-outs, some don't, whatever. Once you're in the 1 to 4 year range, the Red Sox have no excuse not to be involved, and they have no excuse not to land the player. So
I don't agree with that.
What part?
That they have no excuse. Like the original report, and I know as time goes it gets lost, was that the manager wants the player and the GM doesn't, or the Pobo, whatever the fuck his name is now. Craig doesn't. Like if his conviction is like, I would rather not because I think Christian Campbell can do the exact same thing immediately. I don't think that's like an excuse, not excuse thing. I'd rather him stick to his guns than do something just because the manager wants it. If that's his vision, see out your vision. Don't just get pushed around.
Why can't Campbell play the outfield?
How many of those do we need?
Send Raphael to the bench.
It's not even that. So, all right. So here's when I raised my finger and I let Steve go like 35 minutes ago. Here's what I was going to say. I love this man. I'm thankful for this man. But Sam Kennedy didn't love the interview that he had with Loomer and TC on Nesson. Didn't love it. He was saying some things that, quite frankly, not only did I disagree with, but they were just wrong. So Lou is kind of making the point of, and this piggybacks off of this isn't like a hard pivot. So bear with me here, follow me. The discussion that we were just having about, why not just Campbell instead of Bregman? Lou is saying, you see guys down there like Jarren Duran who are at the batting cage and they want someone to talk hitting with, but like, Raffy does his own thing. Casas is doing jumping jacks. Like there's no, like your best hitter
JD
is
Martinez.
looking around. Your best hitter is looking around being like, who the fuck can I learn from? Like who is on my level, above me in terms of veteran status, that I can talk hitting with, that, just the benefit of that we saw, like Tyler just said, JD Martinez came along, and like, look at what happened to Mookie Betts. Look at what happened with Rafael Devers. Like all these guys that they just picked his brain, and it altered the rest of their careers. The Red Sox don't have that guy. And I've made that point multiple times, and I try to present it in a way that doesn't come off as an insult to the guys that are in the room, because I don't mean it that way. I'm not saying like, hey, you guys aren't fucking, an elite level talent or whatever. But Lou is making the point of, Duran's looking around for guys to talk hitting with. Who the fuck, like, bring someone in here like Bregman that can be that guy. And Sam was like, well, we have, I push back on that because we have guys like Trevor Story. And it's like, Trevor Story's always hurt. He's never around. He's not.
He's also not
when
that
he is
hitting
around,
guru.
when he is around, he's not by the case. He's not taking swings. He's not taking batting practice with the team. He's in the training room. He's trying to get back on the field. That's like, it's not a knock on Trevor Story. These are just the facts. He is mostly hurt, not a guy that's at the cage that Duran is going to be going up to asking for hitting tips. And then he also said, well, we have Rafael Devers. Raffy is not that guy. He's not that guy. And that's, again, not a knock on him, but he does his own thing. He goes out there, he gets his work in, and he's out. He's not like a, let me show you something, kid. Like, he's not that guy. And then the third name that Sam mentioned was Alex Cora. He's the fucking manager. He's not a hitting coach. All due respect to my manager. 6-something OPS in the big leagues. Like, he's not going up to Duran and teaching him his game and like hitting. It's just not, it's not that, like, it's so different if you have a guy like Bregman come in and just to talk baseball with, and a guy that's been there and done that, a guy that's won championships, a guy that's played a lot of October baseball, like these guys haven't. No, who the fuck on this team has? Nobody.
Justin Turner was that guy before he left. He gave it to you for a year. He was able to be that. But last year you heard the hitting meetings, like it was Jarren Duran helping Rob Refsnyder. Like that's what we were hearing was what was going on in the hitting room. And you wonder why you don't hit for a month straight where everybody goes cold and they can't figure it out. I'll also add, if Craig Breslow can get his dick hard for Nolan Arenado for 3 years and eating close to what's call it $15 million a year, he can get over 4 years with Bregman at $30 million or whatever it is, especially in a window where you're expected to be going over the CBT threshold, or else this whole organization is a fucking problem. And we have to have serious questions about anything.
It's still not Breslow's money. We still need to acknowledge that like, everyone's got to be on board.
Yeah. And if it was a complete no, he doesn't have to make the phone call. He could just leave it as is and say, this is not the route we're going. It's January. It's not November. You don't have to do due diligence anymore. At the end of the day, it's wasting time, if anything, if you were doing that. So there's seemingly, I think it's more of at our price, we'll do it. If not, go fuck yourself. And I think that's the game they're going to play.
Yeah. I've had this conversation with people around the team, with players, whatever. When Craig Breslow was hired here, I was like, fuck yes, because I love Heim. I love the nerd that knows the ins and outs of the game and can make smart baseball decisions. And with Breslow, I was like, here we go. Like, this is the nerd part of Heim, but it's a dude that played, that won a championship, that understands sometimes. Like, all right, we look at the odds. Like, this has a 61% chance of working out. A nerd is going to say that's not high enough odds for me. A former player is going to be like, that sounds good enough. We have to just roll the dice and take the risk. It's about taking risks. And I thought we were getting more of the former player side, executive wise, with Breslow. I haven't seen that yet. Just like if
the Crochet trade.
I'm looking at the Bregman situation specifically. You forecast out the next 3-4 years of Bregman's career, and it's like, all right, well, if he declines every single year, yada, yada, yada. But as a player, you have to know that the entire DNA of the Boston Red Sox changes when a guy like that walks into the room. The identity of the team is different in a much better way, much improved. I think it's great. And I think Garrett Crochet talked about this when he interviewed with TC. He was saying, you know, I like the idea that he's like, I'm 25. You look around, like a lot of these other guys, like I'm sharing a rotation with a bunch of dudes that are like my age, that are at the same points of their career as me. And, you know, I look to the former big three, like Teal and Meyer and Anthony, and like those guys, like they had each other and they became like a baseball rat unit. Like the Red Sox rotation can become that. I look at the position players and I'm like, maybe the word fractured is too strong, but like, look at Mookie and Jackie and Benny. Like they came up together. They like, that was a cohesive unit. Like, where is the cohesive position player unit on the Red Sox right now?
I think what you look at what Walker Buehler can bring to the Red Sox rotation is exactly what Alex Bregman brings to the position player side. It's the credibility, it's the dog, it's the postseason experience. It's that guy you go to war
Fuck you,
for.
let's go out and win.
That's
Show
it.
up every day, bust your ass every day. Accountability, no excuses, play hard, have a pedigree of winning. Let's do that. Let's go out and do that.
If you're willing to invest in 34, 35, 36 for Nolan Arenado, you should be fine investing in 31, 32, 33, 34 for Alex Bregman. Yeah, it costs more, and you're going to have to give up a pick. You have two. You're going to get one if Nick
Does it
Pivetta
cost more,
ever
though?
signs. What'd you say?
Does it cost more?
Well, in terms of money in the pick, but you have to weigh it out what it would do for you. And it's balancing those two. It should tell you, all right, yeah, there's way too many things in the Bregman side not to go that route if that deal's there.
The money part's interesting because what's left on Arenado's contract at this point? Do we know what that number is?
It's like with the money the Rockies are eating $10 million. It's closer with the way that the Astros were going to eat the deal. It was going to be 3 years at $45 million. They were going to take on. The Cardinals were willing to eat $5 million.
He's making $32 million this year, and
it's 72 over 3, right?
32 and 25, 27 and 26. So it's 2 years.
No, it's 3.
Yeah, it comes down. Obviously, it comes down to how much of the contract's going to be eaten if he gets traded. But the money's not going to be that much different. It again depends on how much money is going to be eaten. But there's a scenario where for Bregman, who's obviously at this point, I'd say much better player than Nolan Arenado, the money's not going to be that much different compared to what the talent difference is.
I think it's going to be double money. Essentially,
depending it's on what they eat,
depending on the deal.
Yeah.
But at least the first deal they were going to make with the Astros, they were taking $15 million a year for Arenado.
And then again, like with Bregman still out there, who knows what the yearly money is going to be if there's opt-outs and all that. Like we don't know what he's going to make this upcoming season, so it might not be that far from Arenado. Depending on what they're taking.
You might get out of it in a year if you get that deal. If you get the Matt Chapman deal, who gives a fuck? He could take off next year and then you figure it out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals added an extra year.
But I'm guessing the Red Sox are going to be extremely sensitive about doing that because he has the pick attached. So it's like, hey, if we're going to get you here and you opt out after 1 year.
They shouldn't sign him for a year. That'd be insane.
You want that 4 or 5 year deal if possible and try to push the opt out. But Bregman's going to want to say, I'll take high AAV for 1 year and try to get the deal I want. And next year, call it. Even if it's 6/150, I get the 200. You know, it's just different how we did the numbers.
I understand like the fan frustration because Crochet. Yeah, we all believe they're going to extend him. It seems very likely. As of today, that's a 2-year move. Like you've given yourself minimum a 2-year window with that. Buehler's a 1-year deal. So you've made these moves. Chapman's not 26. You know what I mean? He's a high leverage reliever for 1 year in the late 30s. Like these are all moves that tell people we're trying to contend right now. Like this year, we're trying to go for it. Otherwise, none of those moves really outside of Crochet really makes sense. Not a single other move they've made makes sense. So that's where I get it. I just also understand if Craig has other things on the horizon, which there are a couple of teams that may still sell a piece. Like I think my biggest problem with all of baseball right now, we obviously hyper fixate on the Red Sox. To Steve's point, nothing's happening. Like he said, like, yeah, they're running our likes and our mentions as segments, like nothing. I think right now you see a lot of owners, also to Steve's point, because it is a lot of Henry, you see a lot of owners and money people being like, we have a full 40 and pitchers and catchers report in a couple weeks. Like, I think a lot of guys right now are like, I think we've spent enough. maybe we'll do something like trade for Gavin Lux, but that's about it. Like, we're not actually trying to
The Red
spend
Sox
money.
cannot. They're $30 million below that first CBT
I'm
threshold.
saying-
This would be considerably lower than last year.
I'm not saying they're going to stop, but I also can understand if to be fair, even on the Arenado stuff, the Red Sox have never come out and said, like, we want Arenado.
Trevor Story
Yeah,
has.
Right. Trevor Story did. It's
Arenado's,
connected.
it's been Arenado and Story, basically. It's been the players, not the team.
Yeah, and it's been Bregman, like in Cora. So it's always been the players' side. The team side, which has been very leaky, has only been talking like, we can't wait to trade Casas. Like, they haven't been focused on free agents at all.
But we heard
Ah,
Arenado
fuck
was
no.
plan B. That was the initial language we got from the McAdam report.
To what, though?
I don't know. Is
Right.
Bregman, is
Soto?
Bregman plan A in the day Bregman?
Soto?
No, but maybe, right? That could be it. Or is it the
I
day
was-
Bregman comes off and, say he signs somewhere else? They're like, fuck it. We'll take Arenado. I guess we lost what we thought we were going to win.
And that has to be position player plan B, because you can see, we know they met with Snell, but they were busy fake being in the Soto thing and they lost out on Snell. So Fried was their plan B and they just got outbid on Fried. So Crochet was plan C at best. You know what I mean? Like, which is fine. I think that's smart to have that many plans.
Spear said that they, even with Fried, they were still going to go after Crochet. They thought like it was going to be a 1-2 punch, if anything. I don't know. That's
cool.
Spear's reporting. I'm not saying that's
cool,
the
but
truth.
they didn't have like an alternative to that. Bueller's very cool, but it's for 1 year. That wasn't like, oh, we're going to get Burns, or, oh, we're going to give Flaherty 4 years. Even if you like Bueller more, I do think it kind of sucks that they only give out 1-2 year deals. Walker Buehler, maybe he's here long term, but no one's going to buy that jersey if they know he's going to be gone in 8 months.
Well, that's another. No, keep going.
I was
gonna
Patrick
say
Sandoval, they're basically telling you that's going to be the guy who's probably taking a rotation spot a year from now.
Right, from him or Giolito. So it's like that. The fan experience right now is, look at the park. We're selling the park. Great thing to sell, no doubt. But the player part of it, like, what? It's only Devers. Duran, which I thought was going to be the lead story when we fucking walked in here. They don't even want to pay him after Tyler's been yelling at me all year. They view him as the captain of this team. Doesn't
That's
have to
what
win
makes
a
it so
weekend.
insulting.
And he gets they're offering 3.5, which I kind of side with the team, but I understand it. It looks so bad. That's why when you ask how do I feel about Breslow, not all of this falls on him, but the Pobo will always be the face of this. You have to say bad. I can't. Like, I can see the path I envision, and I can see him sometimes step on it, but it's like following a drunk person. Like, they sway so wildly into like, well, that was fucking unnecessarily dumb. Like,
Casas
self-inflicted
Yoshida,
dumb.
that's a deal you put on the table. Like, what the fuck was that?
So much of it, it's just like, I can kind of see where you're coming from on some of these, but then you do the directly a conflicting thing to that, where I can't really follow what you're saying.
The fan experience part of this is a very important piece, because I can't remember a time over this last 3 year stretch that we've had just doing this show or being fans of this team where it's like, whose jersey are you going to get outside of Rafael Devers? Like, if you're a family or a kid, it's like, who am I going to lock into for the next X amount of years? A lot of people would have said Duran, and now, like you're mentioning, they're fighting him over $500,000. So it's like, which guys are you going to have here for the long haul that can consistently be playing hopefully playoff games for your team? The Red Sox have 3 players on the active roster that have played playoff games for the Red Sox. That's crazy. In the time that we've done this show, that has never been the case. You're always bringing guys back like, hey, we didn't get over the hump this year. We didn't make it to the World Series, but got a damn good chance next year because this guy, that guy, and the third guy are all coming back. It's Whitlock, Houck, and Devers. Those are the only guys here that have worn a Red Sox jersey in a playoff game. And that sucks. That sucks for your brand. That sucks for the experience.
And
you mentioned Fenway
Houck
Park
is a starter and did not start in a playoff game.
That's the thing. He's both those guys are relievers. You got 2
Fantastic
relievers that have played
and-
playoff games here in Devers.
Yeah, and then Devers in 18 wasn't even a starter. I mean, obviously he played in 21, but he
21.
wasn't
It's
even
really
a starter.
about 21. No,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, most of that. And then
No.
21, he had 1 arm. So it's
Even Whitlock, right? He was essentially your closer, your best high leverage arm, and you've just kind of fucked him up the past 3 years as you try to make him a starter.
The Fenway thing is so accurate, and that's why I mentioned it with the Fan Fest. They are so lucky that Fenway is the home park of the Boston Red Sox, because it's always going to be there. And I'm a sucker, walking in there, I still kind of get the chill. I'm like, I fucking love this place. This place is so
Love
sick.
it.
It's always going to be sick. But it's like, stop banking on people just coming here, like, I'm sick of it. I'm so sick that that's just what's going to be the main attraction over and over and over again. You got to have people that are going to spend at least half a decade here that you can win playoff games with.
And it's tough to point this out now when they're projected to have like a gaggle of those guys like bursting down the door.
No, I know.
But now you have people like complaining about even signing them. And it's just like at a certain point, I blame the fans as well. It's like, well, if they can't do anything right, just shut the fuck up. Like, if all of it's wrong, what are we doing here?
You are right with the prospect approach. It's like, okay, if Breslow's going to stick with that and extend Campbell and Anthony, and we're going to, but do it though. Don't just say that like, yeah, we're looking into it and we're talking contracts and crochet and everything else. It's like, okay, if that's where the money's going to go, make sure it happens, because then if it doesn't happen and these guys just all of a sudden are going to want more money if Campbell hits 30 bombs somehow this year, like, no, lock these deals in now if you're not going to get Bregman. You got to pick a side either way.
The letting Xander walk is, for all the reasons we've listed, why it was such a disastrous idea. He begged for a deal, like a below market deal for a whole year. And they were just like, we're all set, pal. And now we're still trying to fill that hole.
Yeah, outside of Mookie, my biggest what if would be, what would Xander be doing if the Padres thing didn't happen? Like, what would have happened if we just got a normal deal done when he wanted to get it done and he stays here? Obviously, like we mentioned with Devers, that has a huge impact on his buddy that he's on the left side of the infield with. And the vibes and the culture and the face of the team.
Devers for cheaper.
Oh,
you definitely
100%.
could have got Devers for cheaper.
And then you don't have this concern about needing a Dominican Wally. It's like Xander is just, he's from everywhere, speaks every language. He knows everybody. That guy's here.
What heritage night do you want to have tonight? Xander can give a full speech in that language.
And he would love to be there. He's the nicest guy ever. Like, I still miss Xander.
Term, you know they love a jersey retirement ceremony. They're not going to have that with Xander now. They easily could have done that. Very easily. He was well on his way. Awful. Awful. No one come to my fucking mentions posting his like April batting average on the Padres last year. I can't think of a more irrelevant thing to what I'm talking about.
I miss Xander.
I miss Slander too.
No leader in the clubhouse, won multiple rings here. Like, it's insane that they were like, we're all, that culture shit's for the birds.
And then they're mad that the guy who was raised under him isn't that guy, doesn't have that personality. That's where, like, where Coley says the logic and just like streamlined thoughts, things making sense in a row, they don't. And that's a very fair criticism. We didn't touch on the Duran thing overall, but
there's also ad, right? I mean, we all think it's stupid. I don't know what
pisses me off is the people who are like, you don't understand how arbitration works. Oh. Relax, buddy. Please. Like, it is not that complex. We get it. It's not $500K. It's probably $6-7 million over the course of an entire, team control, 3 years after this. We get it. What we're saying here is if you're going to likely meet in the middle here, the fact that you're drawing this out for a guy
they're not meeting in the middle.
You think they're going to be stuck at that? There won't be they lock down a deal beforehand. They don't actually get to the arbitration meeting. You think one side would have to fold?
I think that they're going to have to meet his number. Yes.
That's even more embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't think they're meeting in the middle, because if you look at the precedent, like I've dug into this, like comparable players, first year Arb, whatever. He's well within his right to ask for $4 million. Like, it's like the other comparable players have asked for around the same, and he's coming off far better seasons, a far better season. So if I'm him, I'm not backing down. I'm walking into that. I'm very confident going into a hearing under the impression I'm going to win. So I'm not meeting in the middle, and it's no longer about money when you're haggling over $500K. It's about principle of look at the season I just had, and you're going to bust my balls over $500K. Like, fuck you. And look at all the look at the, that's what they go off of too. Like with the arbitration process, it's all about, well, this comparable player over here asked for this and he won his case. So like, why wouldn't I win mine? And I was actually better than that player. Like, this is all going to come up. Like the Red Sox, I mean, arbitration if it actually goes to a hearing, is very, like, you would think it's like very buttoned up. Like, they're literally going to, I know that they're going to bring up the tennis racket.
Tennis racket.
Of course.
Yo, that's coming up early.
And I'd also be
That's
like,
getting brought
remember
up.
when I played 160 games for you and my whole, I
And they're going
started
to say,
deteriorate?
and they're going to say, buddy, it wasn't 162.
Yeah, go
Why
fi-
not?
I would.
That's go.
But
I'm
you're
telling
right.
you right
That is
now.
what it is.
Yeah,
Bro,
and also
did you
playing
not-
that much? Look at your September. Like they're going to. I think going to trial is. You should have already traded him if you're going to bring him to trial.
Yep.
All
And
I've heard-
Duran's not
because
the
it's
guy
it's
for
not like you think of MLB an arbitration hearing. You think they're going to bring out the stats. They're going to bring out the charts. Like they're literally going to be like, this dude used a gay slur, so we're not paying that guy. And
they'll probably bring out stuff that we don't know. They'll bring out like behind the scenes stuff, which I feel like Jarren might have a lot.
Did you
the Corbin Burns?
Did you know the Dylan Betances thing on Foul Territory?
No.
So he I remember because I was blogging MLB at the time, and I remember the Dylan Betances arbitration case, and the detail, like the story that he told on the show wasn't public until now, but he was like I remember the merch. I want to say it was Hubs's shirt. It was they did run run DMC. They did no runs DMC for Dylan, Miller, Chapman, and the Yankees brought up an arbitration that the sales for the, like, once Miller and Chapman weren't on the team anymore, that the sales for the shirts went down because only Dylan Betances was part of it. And he was like, it's why would you buy a Chapman Miller Dylan Betances shirt if they're not on the team? They're like, once you became the guy, everyone stopped buying the shirt. Like that's the type of stuff that MLB teams bring up in these hearings. So you're going to bring Jarren Duran into a meeting, a guy that very clearly takes things personally and hears all the noise, uses all of it as motivation, sometimes gets very emotional and reacts to it in a aggressive, boiled over the top kind of way.
The guy who you're calling the leader of your team out of the young
guy
core,
that
that's the guy you
crowning as the leader of the Red Sox franchise, who just came off a 8.7 wins above replacement
8th in
season.
MVP voting.
And you're going to bring him in a room and tell him how much he sucks. Someone that, like, I don't think he has confidence issues. I think he believes in himself a great amount. But I think, speaking for myself, I don't have confidence issues. I know what I'm capable of. Someone on Twitter can't tell me that I suck. But I remember how much, like, it bothered me when Portnoy would say shit about me. Like, it depends on who it's coming from. Like, if it's coming from my boss, the guy that pays my checks, then you talking shit about my ability is going to bother me in a way that fucking user 345559837, I don't care what the fuck he says.
He's got
but
some.
if you're
Duran
if you're
does
the
care.
guy that controls my paychecks and my job security, yeah, when you start to, like, talk shit, that's going to bother me, and that's what arbitration is. So, speaking from my own personal experience, you can say Duran's a confident guy. He's a very good baseball player, and he has gone leaps and bounds into improving his mental health, but that's not going to fucking help.
I hate all of this. I hate everything about this situation. When it came out, it was like, this is the biggest waste of your time of all time. Of all the things, like, in the concerns the Red Sox have, you're now going to add this to the list, which just doesn't need to happen at all. Jerry, obviously we know Jarren very well. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite and least favorite things about him is that he gets offended very easily at things, even if it wasn't intended to be of offense towards Jarren Duran. I think a lot of times he uses that to his benefit. A lot of times that has kind of crushed him over the last couple of years. This is only going to be hell. It's a very valid point that you just said of, it's one thing if some shithead's saying it that somehow snuck down to the third row at Fenway. It's a totally other thing when it's someone in your family that's telling you this is what you suck at. That stuff sits with you constantly. And I've gone back and forth on it in terms of if you would use that as more fuel. This dude's already created enough fuel for himself. He doesn't need to now have an arbitration hearing to get him up for to go back to back in the All-Star Game MVP. He's already gone through enough here and been through enough shit. He's fueled up. He has enough. There's literally, you can't put any more fuel in the tank. Yeah. So this is just a complete waste of time for the team, and it's an unnecessary shitstorm for Jarren Duran, who doesn't deserve it based on what he did last year. He should just have that $4 million. We should be past this. The fact it's still happening is a joke.
Yeah. Well, I'll also add, and with Duran, he's not getting an extension. They have not discussed one with him. He's going to be a free agent in 2029. He'll be 31. So I'm not sitting here. It's not a Mookie Betts situation where I'm like, are they going to compromise, negotiations here? To me, it screams, we're worried that he is not going to be this player in the coming year. So if that salary gets out of control, he's not going to be worth that value to me. Or when we try to ship him in a deal, it's going to be hard because he's going to be maybe being paid more than what he's actually worth. I think that's where the team comes in here. But when you're planning for this to be your competitive window and you're planning to spend money, that kind of money should not bother you that much in this kind of situation, especially if you made the decision this offseason when his stock was his highest. Hey, we're holding on to him. We feel the need for him to be on this roster. Then you shouldn't be playing these games with this guy.
The making more than he's worth, the odds to me that that's the case are so slim. If he's getting an Arb deal and you're going to be fighting over $500,000 and he just did what he did last year, we've had a lot of convos of whether he can repeat that or not. That's kind of a separate conversation. There's such a slim chance that he's not going to be worth what this deal is.
He's a Super 2 guy, so he's going to be going through arbitration more than your typical player here. But no, I agree with you. I think arguing over this sum of money, like I said, $8 million maybe over the years as you get this far, it's too much for me, especially for a guy that you were willing to run into the ground. You couldn't say enough good things about what he meant to your team, all this different shit. All our young players, even if you're a prospect, Alex Cora saying, be like that guy, to sit here and play this game with him, especially when you look at how the Garrett Crochet stuff went down, right? He gets $1 million more than what MLB trade rumors projected for him. Because you know why? They're going to work out an extension and he's going to get paid and that number is not going to mean very much. When you're Jarren Duran and you're like, fuck, I just laid my life on the line. I know you're not going to give me that extension and you're busting my balls over this. It's like, fuck. Go, Coley.
If there were a free agent and we described him exactly as Duran was just described, would any of us want to sign them? Would we think they'd be able to handle Boston?
We signed Price.
I wouldn't describe Price like that.
Price was very, he read the criticism and reacted very emotionally to it.
I think a lot of players do, but
outwardly.
Duran showed he can play in Boston. He already did it.
Yeah.
He didn't make it through the whole season without getting suspended.
He played 160 games to finish 8th.
Price is the counter to that question. That's
better than any season Price had.
It's not a perfect comparison because Price was more
and
mature.
Also, a lot of people don't think Price played well in Boston. So I don't
know
those
people are dumb because he did. But he definitely was more mature, but definitely same levels of maybe sensitivity.
Tell me if this doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense. It just hit me, and I think it's a fact.
Yeah.
Does this not further prove that Cora in the front office are kind of miles apart? Because T, you're mentioning how much, he's the face of the team. Maybe not face of the team, but he's our leader, yada, yada, yada. Who's saying that? It's Alex Cora who's saying that. Alex Cora is not going to an arbitration hearing with Jarren Duran. This is the team that is deciding to go to a hearing with one of their best players. So if I'm AC, I'm hating this. I don't think he would want any of this to be going down. And now he looks at it like, great. It's just another example of, even though Cora signed the extension, he's probably like, God, do they listen to anything I say? Do they care about any of my opinions of the guys that I'm around way more than they are?
I think the player has the option to not be in the room, but knowing him, he's going to be like, you're saying that shit to my face. Yeah, they do.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It can be just like the agent.
But why would you choose to do that? Doesn't that hurt your chances of things going well? You don't show up to your own arbitration hearing?
I think uncommon. It's like, you're going to talk shit. You're going to talk shit in front of me. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned if he didn't go.
Yeah. It's not uncommon that a player wouldn't be there, but they
can still avoid court, by the way. This doesn't have to happen yet, right? This can still
be it can up in literally, you can be at the fucking courthouse.
Right.
And you can be minutes away from walking inside and agree to a deal. Like, there's no time limit on this. The time limit is when they actually walk in the room and sit down.
If I recall, Devers, the last year he went through Arb, they technically didn't get it done by the deadline. They ended up finishing it either the next day or hours after.
There's no deadline. There's no deadline. You
Right,
can,
the court
In
did
terms
do
of
deadline.
numbers being filed.
that doesn't matter. Like that's a separate stage of the process.
The
Like
Red Sox have a club policy, but they've broken it before.
the team files at a number, the player files at a number. If you go to the hearing, the panel is not going to pick the middle. Like, it's one or the other.
One or the other.
The panel only picks the team filing or the player filing. A lot of times they will agree to the middle number. That's how they avoid having to go to the hearing. And, you know, teams may have their policies, but the league rule is you can agree to terms whenever the fuck you want. Like, Betances was saying that. He was like, they were trying in the fucking lobby before we walked in the room. Like, is there anything we can do to avoid this? Because we have a terrible T-shirt argument that we're about to bring out on the PowerPoint. We need to avoid this.
I had never heard that T-shirt thing. That's got to be some of the dumbest logic of all time. Like, the two players of the three are not on the team anymore.
You wouldn't fucking believe some of the shit. Like, I don't know if he's up right now. I almost want to call Josh Donaldson because I know he. Let me text him right now.
I know Corbin
Didn't the
Burns
Yankees
talked about it.
beat Judge in arbitration the year before he was the free agent?
Say that again?
Didn't they beat Judge? They took Judge to arbitration, but for some reason, arbitration got pushed back to like 2 months into the season, and he already had like 50 home runs, and they were like, I don't.
They settled. They settled at 19.
Did they settle?
I'm gonna see if he. I'm gonna see. Hold on.
No, I know Corbin
doing a
Burns.
segment.
When they met with him, it was the year he finished 7th in Cy Young voting. They blamed him in the meeting for the Brewers not making the playoffs. They said, you were the reason we didn't make the team. And he was like,
It's crazy.
After that,
Like,
I was done with them.
Things will be said in these ARB hearings that I swear the team doesn't even believe. They're just going to make shit up to make their case sound good.
Just like any courtroom, right? You
No,
have
and
a
it's
lawyer
just
and
it's
go
something
do your
about because
thing. You work
we're
for me.
obviously so versed in this baseball world that it's like that to me makes less sense. Where it's like, come on, man, we're all watching the games. This is public. Like, you can say stuff in a divorce court that's a lot different. Like, that was in the privacy of your own home. It's like we see all of this. We're watching the games too, so you feel like you're being lied to a little more.
That's why
Burns came out of that meeting and shit on the Brewers like immediately.
Exactly. Yeah, credit to him.
Immediately.
He knew the
But I
power he
think
had.
This feels like the route, and I'm not saying I blame him one way or the other, but that feels like the route Duran would probably take. Like, I don't think he would handle it well.
No, he's not going to come out being like, we had a great time in court. It was a dandy.
No one would. No one would. But to me, it's like, did they decide now they want to shop them? Did they want those numbers public so other teams knew what the number would be? I don't know if I'm trying to read too much into it, but I can't imagine.
Anything's on the
they
table.
should know I think their biggest problem right now is like self-scouting, like their own guys. Like, that feels like they just don't have a great read on their own players. Like, they handle Casas horribly. Obviously, he doesn't help, but they're not handling Duran well right now.
It feels like it's almost gone in the other direction, where at times it felt like maybe Bloom held a little too much value. Maybe at times Breslow is not holding the same value. Maybe a little too less. Where it's like,
I don't even know
Casas
if
thing. It's like, what are you doing?
I don't even know if that, but a lot of these aren't Breslow. It's like the whole organization. It's just not on the same page.
It's the same cooks in the kitchen.
But there's no scenario with anything happening with a player on the current roster that we can not factor certain things. Like, anything can play into this equation when we're talking about this current Red Sox organization. Like, that's, I don't think anything you're floating, Coley's like, it's like, oh, no, that actually could be it. Like anything you just listed there is like, no, technically that could be their motivation, which doesn't make sense, but they've done so many things that don't make sense that's left us in this position.
None. I don't know. It's frustrating because even if you go back to that Rockies series last year when Breslow had to fly across the country to re-sign or extend Alex Cora, if that's your guy, and part of the reason he wanted to extend at that point was like, yeah, you're gonna get me one of my guys. There's no one who's more his guy than Bregman, And Breslow's continuously just like, I hate it. I'll never, I promise that's not happening.
And then like, who's AC's top guy on the team? He loves Jarren Duran. Like that announcement for the All-Star game was, are we getting Donaldson?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
J-Dog.
Hello,
JD.
what do I do?
What's up, dog?
Chilling, hitting some golf balls.
Am I correct in remembering that you won the American League MVP in 2015 and then the Blue Jays took you to arbitration?
They were so I got traded. The only time I went to arbitration was after I got traded to the Blue Jays from Oakland.
Okay.
My first year, and then after I won the MVP, they were going to take me to arbitration, and then we ended up settling on a 2-year deal.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this. I know you're happily retired, living the good life, but the Red Sox are potentially about to take Jarren Duran to arbitration, and he reacts strongly emotionally to negative criticism. So we're trying to figure out, like I was telling them the story about Dylan Betances when he got taken to Arb with the Yankees and they used like t-shirt sales against him in arbitration. Do you remember the dumbest thing that the Blue Jays tried to use against you to not give you more money? And do you have any stories from like former teammates maybe or guys in the league where they had to go through arbitration and they were like, this team tried to use some dumb excuse to not give me more money?
There's stories all around the league. I mean, for me, it was I was a super coup my first year of arbitration. So what that means is I was kind of getting compared to guys with almost a full year more service time than me.
Mm-hmm.
And so your first year of arbitration is a complimation, or it's a complimation. Is that right? Is that the right word?
I don't know what word you're looking for.
Combination?
Why am I getting stuck?
Compilation?
Combination? Culmination.
It's a combination of all the year of service time. Sorry. Jesus.
Okay.
Brain and tongue did not want to compute right there.
No.
So it's a combination of all your work, your body of work that you've done, and they're comparing them to guys across the league. And at the time, we were one of the first people to introduce WAR and stuff into arbitration. Didn't work. Now that kind of does work in arbitration. But I guess my story would be, after the Blue Jays beat me in arbitration, there was a guy in the front office that one of their comps that they compared me to was Pedro Alvarez.
What?
And Pedro Alvarez, I mean, if you look at it, his first 3 years in the league, he was, he hit a lot of home runs. But at that time, it was, power plays, RBIs plays. WAR wasn't really a thing. Defensive metrics weren't a thing. Base running wasn't a thing. In arbitration, now that's all changed. And the guy all throughout the year, he would walk by me and just drop a Pedro Alvarez on me. And the first few times it went over, I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, I laughed and smiled, and like the third and fourth time, I was like, after he said, I was like, hey, dude, like, I don't really know if you know who you're talking to right now. And I'm not the guy for you to continue to antagonize me, because guess what? Look at the year that I'm having right now, and I will come for every dollar that is owed for me.
Right. Yes.
And so, there is that kind of, there wasn't a lot of bad things said in the thing. I mean, there was guys that had good years at that time. It was, and the system was somewhat broken. Thankfully, Guys have started to take the arbitration, and arbitration really is not a bad thing anymore. It's really blossomed in the fact that guys can start getting paid a lot faster now than ever before.
Yeah, like Chris Bryant is like a dude I can think of. Mookie Betts, they got big time money in arbitration, but like the process of it, maybe you've heard this rumor. I don't even know if it's a rumor. I think it was like confirmed, but there would be teams that have, I guess, like mental skills coaches, let's call them. And players stopped talking to the mental skills coaches because the mental skills coaches were taking things that players were saying in confidence. And then that was coming up in arbitration. Teams were using that against the players in arbitration.
Well, if that was the case, then yeah, they're right to not talk to that guy anymore. And here's the deal. All those guys are getting paid by the organization. So that's why you get players kind of iffy to use organizational things. Like, you see guys that wear the units and stuff in between games or during the game to tell you like how much they fatigue, how much they ran, all that stuff, because it has been used in certain settings to either devalue a player or add value to a guy that, an organization like.
Did I lose you?
No, can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Did you hear me?
Did you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can fucking hear you, dude. Do you have any stories that like other guys have told you about how their arbitration cases went and like any like crazy shit that teams tried to use against them?
Yeah, I mean, he's part of the media now. You could probably ask him his story. Jerry Blevins has a pretty good arbitration story that he told me. Pretty much, I think he was with the Nationals, and the guy that was arguing the case against was like, yeah, this guy pretty much sucks. Like, he shouldn't be in the big league.
Wow.
And so he didn't probably have a good case for that. I know he was a little bit upset about that. You might probably ask him a little bit more about how he felt about that conversation. I think maybe just to give you a little bit more information on how arbitration works is you have 3 arbiters in a room, right? And they might not know anything about baseball. Okay? They don't know. They might not even know who you are. They might know who you are. They might know what an RBI means. They might not. They might, you have to really go into depth of explaining in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing about it is 50% of them are hired by Major League Baseball and 50% are hired by the Players Union. And so all of them kind of want to vote in the 50 percentile so they don't get fired. If one of them starts voting too much on one side, then the union or MLB will fire that arbiter and not hire him back. So it's kind of a sketchy game, especially when you start getting down to the end and whatever arbiter you get, you might have a done deal case. But you might have one arbiter on there that needs to vote yes or no, depending on what he's been doing earlier. And so it might not even matter what the argument is.
That's kind of crazy that these people like may not have even watched a baseball game before, and they're deciding players' salaries in Major League Baseball based on statistics that even baseball fans sometimes don't even understand what the fuck these statistics mean. And now you have 30 minutes to explain like wins above replacement, the formula, like the Fangraphs versus baseball reference formula to some nerd that's going to vote whether or not you're going to get an extra $750K or not.
Yeah, I mean, on my arbitration case that I went to, there was one arbiter, and they had, I guess they, if I remember correctly, they had to say how many times, what year it was for him. There was a guy on there, it was his first time ever doing arbitration. So you're sitting there like, great, like, who knows if this guy understands the process or not,
Right. That's insane. Yeah,
it was, as I said, arbitration has definitely grew and blossom to the fact where guys can actually start getting closer to, their paid value or their actual value versus what it was whenever I was first coming up. And, whenever I ended up doing my deal, I broke every record going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Bryant came in and broke the first year arbitration record. And then I think Mookie followed him. I don't know if it was the same year or year after.
Yeah.
And then the guys after me kind of just parlayed on top of that to where you actually, because for a long time, teams that had young guys or that were under contract, they would, if the players were performing, would give them a long-term deal. AKA, like now you look at one of the teams like the Braves, they love to lock up these young guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it was before, or like when I was first coming up. So there wasn't a lot of people using the arbitration system. So, it was kind of, there was a lot of blank to where if you were playing really well, like who are you going to, they were trying to compare me or our argument. We were having to use guys that were like 7 and 8 years prior to where, that's not where the market is anymore. And yet, so the process just became very difficult to get that bump that you were looking for, unless, for myself, I went out and won some hardware, which always helps the case.
Yeah, that does always help the case.
With Duran, I look at his case, and obviously he had a great year going into this, but is it his first year of arbitration?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean they're gonna use they could go a multitude of different ways, right? Because he had a really nice year last year, but kind of the first few years were a little bit murky, right?
So they're gonna use that against them instead of just his most recent year.
Yes, I mean of course they will. They'll use probably the broken service time. I want to say he's been sent down a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Not really. He got hurt in 20.
Okay, maybe it was him getting injured maybe it was him getting injured that I thought that he got sent down.
Mm-hmm.
But more along the lines, if he hasn't been sent down, then it'll be more along the lines of games played. It'll be about the numbers produced. Obviously, WAR is now introduced into the arbitration system, and it can get nasty. It's especially, I don't know how far apart they are right now, but
$500,000.
I mean, stuff that, at the end of the day, it's like, it's pissing your guy off worth $500,000, or do you want to make him happy and make him feel like you want him to, continue? Not to say that if he loses that he won't play hard, but do you want him to feel valued by the organization? Essentially, is $500,000 worth that? Hopefully, for his sake and their sake, they'll get something done.
If I'm him, I'm looking at it like I was one win better than Juan Soto, who just got $765 million, and you're gonna break my balls over $500,000 like that. That would piss me off. That would piss me off, and he gets pissed off over everything. So he's gonna be super pissed about this.
Yeah, I mean, I could, hopefully, maybe if he's listening to this conversation.
He could be.
One of the conversations I had with our general manager whenever I was in Toronto, Ross Atkins, the first year, I was like, look, the last thing that you want me to do is start thinking of the game as a business, because then, you just start taking care of your own and making sure that, you're doing what's right by you. And winning baseball games shouldn't be about that. Winning baseball games is going out there. Hey, if sometimes you got to get a guy over or get a guy in, man on third, or man on second, less than 2 outs, lefty, maybe he tries to hit one in the hole and second baseman makes a play. He's doing his job to do that, versus if he's going up there saying, hey, in arbitration, they said I didn't have enough RBIs or whatever it is. I'm going to try to drive this run in, to where now that changes his mindset as a player versus just trying to win the game. I think ultimately every player's mindset should be in that. But I definitely know guys that over the course of their career, they're like, hey, if that opportunity is out there, I'm going to take that chance. And now maybe I strike out, maybe you hit a weak fly ball, whatever it is. And, over the course of 162 games, 10 or 12 of those situations may cost you, 5 or 6 games over the year versus, just going and playing and focusing and doing what you can to win the ball game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, because we just saw that with Hader, right? Like Hader said, yeah, sure. Like if you give me the financial security, you give me a 5-year deal, 100 whatever million that he got from Houston. Sure, you can put me out there in the 7th and I'll give you 9 outs if you need 9 outs. But once he was in San Diego and he was going through the arbitration process, he was like, fuck you. Like if I need saves and I need to stay fresh and healthy to be able to make my money because you guys are not going to give me that extension. You guys are not going to give me the financial security and the tenure in this league. Then I'm not going to extend myself for you if you're not going to, it's not a two-way street. So there are definitely guys that are openly like that.
Yeah. And I mean, for a reliever too, especially, I think it's a double-edged sword because ultimately all your teammates want you out there because they give you the best chance to win. But on the other side of the coin, the guys that have been through the process and you see how relievers get treated on a basis. I mean, they get treated like, a dime a dozen, because one blows out, they bring another kid up going 100. So I definitely understand Hader's argument in that. As a position player, you look at, I'm not saying this guy was in that situation, but you look at like a Will Middlebrook situation where he blew his knee out and really wasn't the same after that. You could go through the list of guys that have had injuries that you would want to be taken care of. Obviously, they were going to be good players, but some things transpired that didn't. But that's when, at the end of the day, if you start thinking of the game as a business, maybe Duran's not laying. I mean, he's made some great plays defensively. Maybe he's not laying it out, so he keeps his body pressure. Maybe he's not running into that wall to take the chance of, freaking blowing a shoulder out or having a concussion or something. Just for this standpoint of like, hey, like I got to make sure that because the sixth tool that nobody talks about in baseball is staying on the field, right? And the more that you stay on the field, the more numbers that you compile, and then that's the word I was looking for earlier. The more numbers that you compile, and then ultimately, the more numbers you have when you get into a situation like arbitration, then you make some cash.
Are you shooting pool right now?
It's a golf.
No, if it sounded like a shotgun, that was my 7-iron. I just hit into my simulator.
You have a simulator in your house?
Of course.
Damn, dude. Man,
that's his arbitration case. Didn't you hear him?
I was going to say, yeah. You had a hell of a...
biggest arm deal ever. Come on now.
Yeah, the fucking
23 million. I mean, I don't know. Is that good?
Is that enough money?
I got a feeling that's solid.
Yeah.
In the arbitration case, he's like, how? You want me at the chorus every night? What am I to do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, what was that video of... George W. Bush after he was talking to
hit this drive.
Yeah, he was addressing the American public talking about 9/11, and he's like, now watch me hit this drive. Yeah, what a legend. I noticed, last question for me, I noticed that you didn't send me a fucking Christmas card this year.
Well, we didn't send any Christmas cards out, so don't feel bad.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to put you on the Christmas card list for next year, and it would be greatly appreciated if it was kind of like a mutual exchange.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. But my wife and I.
Why'd you say our wife? You just said our wife, dude. That's what the fuck.
You're the wife we got down here at the house.
All of our wives.
Yeah.
We had yet to do the picture thing in order to do that. So we gotta. Now that I'm retired, we should set some time to do that, and I'll have to get your address from you, and I'll exchange.
Yeah. All right. That works for me.
Card.
Yeah. I'll.
What else is going on in baseball? Anything fun?
No, it's very
anything
non-fun.
fun.
Right now.
No, yeah, it's not fun. We're trying to get Bregman to sign with the Red Sox, but it's not Bregman's fault. It is the Red Sox fault. They're not really playing ball right now.
Oh, so they're just trying to see who else is the big free agent that's out right now.
No one really.
Pete's big.
Anthony Santander.
Alonso's out there.
Santander. Sasaki's the big one.
Sasaki still has to pretend like he's not signing with the Dodgers and then sign with the Dodgers.
Well, let me ask Donaldson this. The Blue Jays are one of the final three, according to Jeff Paisan. Why should he pick the Blue Jays?
Why should he pick the Blue Jays?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There's really good Asian food there.
Okay.
Yep.
Pretty good baseball team, I'd say.
That didn't seem.
I'm saying pretty good. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because they had some injuries last year. I don't know what they've done on the free agent market this year.
Nothing. They signed
They're
Hoffman, and he tried to sign with 5 other teams before the Blue Jays finally got him.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not probably looking up right now, but I don't know. I mean.
Well, let me rephrase the question.
I think they pay a lot.
Let me rephrase the question because you're one of the guys that it was like you, Batista, and Encarnacion like spoke very highly of your time in Toronto. Like you guys actually wanted to be there. Why do you think so many players right now won't take the Blue Jays money? Why do you think there's so many players that the Blue Jays were like, hey, come play for us, and they're all just like not even entertaining it?
Well, I mean, I definitely think there's some drawbacks to playing in Canada. Obviously, it's another country. You have, let's see, I mean, you have to go through customs every time going there and back. Taxes are higher. So that's, I mean, those are a few drawbacks. But, you know, the thing that I loved about Toronto is that, you know, the people were great. The fans were great. It 100%. If that guy signed with the Blue Jays, he would become an even bigger name than probably what he is now.
Sure.
Because what a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, Toronto, last I checked, is I think the 3rd largest city in North America. So it's a huge fan base. Plus, on top of that, you pretty much have an entire country that's cheering for you. And so you have like I remember when we were playing well and we went to Seattle, they were selling our merchandise in their team store in Seattle because it was 70-30 for Blue Jays fans.
Even like people in Montreal, I feel like people in like the French speaking Canadian provinces don't like Toronto. Is that true?
I don't think they like anybody. except their area up there.
The Canadians, the Habs.
Yeah, I feel like they're just kind of, you know, from what I've heard, they've been trying to separate from Canada for a long time, kind of like Texas does.
Yeah, they're like the Texas of Canada.
Exactly.
Yeah, they think they're their own country. So what's above Seattle? Vancouver?
Yeah.
Vancouver. Yeah. Vancouver. A lot of people from the Couve come down. And when you're in, you know, obviously like the upper, like the northern, like Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland, you get a lot of people from Canada that like to come across the line there and come to the game. So the fan base is great, especially when the team is winning. And I would say my biggest compliment for candidates. Like when I was thinking as a kid about being a big leaguer and how people treated you and you went about your business and stuff there, I experienced that in Canada. Like they
well, you played for the A's before that, so I get the contrast.
I just think that they treat like athletes are higher than probably like actors and actresses and stuff there. To where like you go to New York, if you were going around, like normal athletes can just walk around and not even be noticed, right? In Canada, that's not the case.
So it's basically like Josh Donaldson won, Celine Dion, then Michael Bolton. It
was probably me and Bautista pretty close, and then Drake.
Justin Bieber, though, he was probably Justin Bieber might have had. So it's probably like Biebs.
He was 3. He was kind of down. I think that was like in his depression time.
Oh yeah, that's right when he was like smoking crack and like riding motorcycles out of helicopters. Yeah, so it was probably
it was Drake. It was me and Bautista 1, Drake 2, and then probably Bieber 3, and then Celine Dion 4, Shania Twain 5.
Yeah, where's Bolton?
I mean, he's down. I mean, he's probably below. He's probably below Pamela Anderson.
I forgot Pamela Anderson's Canadian. She's from Toronto, right?
Yep.
Damn. You know who else is from Toronto? Trish Stratus. Where they be getting all these like hot blonde bitches at? Of the 90s.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's my wife's from there, so it's pretty good.
They're good for you, dude. You know what?
Yep.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
I made it. I finally made it. You told me you were proud of me. Thank you.
Yeah, I am proud of you. This is a new Josh Donaldson. I've seen the evolution of Josh Donaldson over the last, call it 10 years. Yeah, probably 2015. Yeah 10 years.
Yeah. Old.
Yeah, we're washed.
I have been.
Yeah.
I'm a has-been.
You're a dad now.
I'm a dad and a husband, and actually, and a golfer now. But
I was just gonna say,
still have a little asshole.
Yeah, you spend your Wednesday nights just whacking your 7-iron in the basement. That's the
I gotta keep my body occupied. Did Pilates today. It was great.
There you go. When are you gonna invite me over?
Whenever you come to Alabama.
Bro, no one just comes to Alabama.
Yeah. Well, you're always invited. Let me know when you want to come.
Done deal. All right. Yeah. You know what? That would be very funny if we just like went and did a weekend at Josh Donaldson's and taught Tyler over here how to golf on your golf simulator.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty easy to do.
With my athleticism, definitely.
I don't know about that. He's very
watch
he's
your words.
Boxy. He's boxy. He's very
thick. Someone call it thick.
He's stiff. Like, think about it this way, right? Like if you bought like an action figure, the ones where like all the joints work, he's not that. He's more of like if you got like a Tasmanian devil plush doll, like you kind of have to like make parts move on your own. Like he's
soft
not
and cuddly though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll figure something out. I'll have to get him on a workout program.
I've tried, brother. It ain't happening. This dude eats fucking. He eats McDonald's and 99. He's on that 99 McDonald's diet and he starves himself in between. He hasn't figured that part out yet, but we'll handle the diet part and then we'll handle the golf part after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you know what? Thanks for taking the time. I honestly, I literally texted him. I was like 5 minutes max, and we got a half hour out of former. Actually, it's not even former. Like once you win it, like you are an American League MVP. 2015 American League Most Valuable Player, Josh Donaldson.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Peace.
Later. That is Josh Donaldson. All time.
Got some trivia for the boys.
Yeah, what is it?
Coming off of that interview, super chill dude.
He's the
Two-time
best.
Section 10 alum, I believe, at this point now.
Yeah, because what it was when he hit the home run off Chapman, and then he called us from the parking lot after the game.
Yeah, he was like, I smoked that thing. Toronto has the 4th biggest population for a city in North America. Can you guys name the other 3?
Yes.
Can you say the question again? I'm sorry.
No, we all heard it. It's New
Saugus,
York, Chicago, and LA.
Massachusetts.
What did you say, Cole?
Dallas.
New York, Chicago, and LA.
New York and LA is correct.
Ooh,
Dallas.
not Chicago. Tally might be right.
Houston.
Not Dallas, not Houston.
Oh, I know this.
Miami.
Think not the United States.
It's Vancouver.
Mexico City.
Mexico City is correct. Good job, Coley.
Chicago 5? Chicago's huge, right?
Chicago's got to be up there. Yeah, Chicago's 5.
Yeah.
Houston 6. Havana 7.
Havana.
Tijuana, and then Montreal and Phoenix, I think, round out the top 10. We got Ryan Gosling, Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, Jim Carrey, Rachel McAdams, The Weeknd, some other famous
The
Canadian
Weeknd is Canadian.
Ryan Dempster.
Oh, yeah.
Dempster, of course.
Dempster's Canadian.
Tyler O'Neill.
It had The Rock on the list.
He's not
He's from
Canadian.
everywhere,
No.
He's from everywhere.
No. He
definitely did a show in Montreal and said, back home, finally, at last.
Yeah. The Rock is not Canadian. I
Avril
believe he was
Lavigne.
born in Hawaii and lived in Miami. Neither are Canadian provinces.
To Coley's point, he is definitely the dude in the interviews. It's like, and it just feels good to be back home. This is where I, grew up. I just, right down
Finally,
God,
The
this
Rock
place, man.
has come back to Wichita.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good
Did you ever
stuff.
see the segment that he did recently when he was a bad guy talking about the meth heads?
Oh, of course.
News that you're probably gonna like. The Rock has got some news that you might even be proud of. Apparently, Glendale is 10 miles away from Phoenix. Assuming the answer is yes, but are there a lot of people from Phoenix here tonight? I knew it, because that would make sense. The Rock did a little research, and here's what he found out. This is the truth. This is a fact. The #1 city in America for cocaine and meth use is Phoenix, Arizona.
Was a bar. I thought he was going to be the president.
And this is a fact.
Oh, it's so good.
That's awesome.
They were pumped about it.
Oh, they loved it.
They said,
Like,
earn,
you
not
bet your
given,
ass.
brother.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, anything else on the docket, T?
No, I think we did everything.
Hell yeah, we did. Jake, how long we go for right in this pod?
We're at 2 hours, 36 minutes.
Oh, that's light. That's light work. We still got
We
to
had
do a
nothing
bonus
to talk
pod.
about, you said.
There's always something to talk about. Who knew? Who knew we would have a cameo from Dwayne Johnson and a former American League MVP winner on the same show?
Fun fact, Josh Donaldson, JD, Jarren Duran, JD.
That was so fun.
I thought about it during the interview.
He's like JD Martinez, JD.
Fun fact you didn't know? Josh Donaldson, Jarren Duran, same initials.
JD Drew.
I posted some JD Drew highlights yesterday.
We know.
Yeah, that
You
pissed
would
me off.
Why did that piss you
Do
off?
you hang out with Martha? Do you give Martha any of your time, dude?
It took a lot of time to cut those highlights up. Way too much.
I know. There's stuff you put
Um,
out there that I'm like, that takes time. Like, give Martha this time.
Yeah, give
I'm going to
Martha the
report
time.
your account.
Well, we're
What'd you
gonna
say,
talk
Colin?
about we're gonna talk about that on the bonus pod because we've
Oh.
got some things that we got to say. But before we get out of here, Tyler, if you've lost your hair, it doesn't mean that you can't find it again. Try Hims Hair Loss Solutions, and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who found their hair again. Hims provides you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that regrow your hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized chewable oral spray and serum treatments to find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. There are no there are no uncomfortable doctor visits. There are no comfortable doctor visits.
Let me tell you, these are all going to be.
These are all,
warn you guys.
You are going to be squirming during these visits. Answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back too with visibly thicker and fuller hair. Start your free online visit at hims.com/section10. That is HIMS.com/section1010 for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Hims.com/section10. All right, yeah, coming up. What is that going to drop on Friday? The Section 10 bonus pod where we're doing a little tea time. We're gonna do a little tea time.
Reading the tea leaves.
What do we have? Do we have DMs? Do we have voicemail, Steve? What do we get?
We have DMs, yeah.
Do we have voicemails too or no?
We have DMs.
All right, so we're going to be doing some voicemails and DMs and some tea time on the Section 10 bonus pod. There was something else I wanted to bring up before we left. What was it, Tyler?
Final
Blake
thought
Sable?
while you think.
All right, Coley, please.
Shout out the Woo Sox. Sent me a care package, including this size.
What the hell?
45
Yeah, whoa.
fitted hat.
Why did you get a care package?
I want to show you guys what I got too. Hold on.
I didn't know T got something.
Why
I
didn't
I
Why
get
didn't I
anything.
get anything?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I have an
answer.
answer.
Really upset. You're like, Tyler? I'm like, Tyler got something?
I have an answer.
Don't-
During their like 12 days of Christmas or whatever, I was just fucking around when everyone was tweeting at them. I tweeted at them like, the people need more Worms stuff. And then they DM'd me. They were like, we're going to send you every Worms thing we have. And I was like, cool.
What the fuck?
Hey, let's maybe flip it. Hey, Woo Sox, if you're listening, we'll take some stuff.
I'll take
It's
anything.
not Christmas. Did you reach out to them? I was proactive about this.
I went into
Valentine's
the
Day.
damn team store myself and bought the finest jacket. I mean, I'm not a hat guy. I mean, I would wear.
Oh no, I got stuffed worms. I got a shot glass. Oh, I got the big chain with
What
the worm
the
on it.
fuck?
Got a T-shirt. Pins.
You know what? I'm gonna. You know what?
You're
I'm
not
gonna
a worms guy. Like, just look at you.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna.
You do laugh.
I'm gonna
Warren,
wait. I'm gonna wait because I'm gonna go to Worcester next summer, and I'll just go in the team store myself and pick out some things that I want.
Should we just tweet at him like, hey, Woo Sox?
No.
Definitely would take some free
No.
stuff.
No,
we're
Coley
begging.
didn't.
I was participating in their fan
I
giveaway. I'm
don't
sorry you
want it.
guys aren't fans enough to be participating.
I don't want it for free. I want to buy it. I'm gonna buy it in the team store in person when I go to Worcester. That's what I'm gonna
Take some
do.
free stuff.
Steve will take some free stuff. Broke ass Steve will take some free stuff. I'm gonna go
I'm
to
a
the team
worms
store.
guy. I don't think you guys are worm heads.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I wish I was. I'm not. Tyler.
I would take any leftover items from Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell. Marcelo Meyer never got to play, but anything left over, I would take it. Anything they left in the locker.
There's
Let
some
me- underwear.
chewed
I'll
gum.
take it.
Like,
Thank
what do you
you.
A
want,
cup,
dude?
maybe, if you have any
Anything.
of those Woo Sox.
Yeah.
I think remember like early eBay, early internet, it would be
Yeah.
like, oh, this waitress at Denny's is selling Britney Spears half-eaten pancake.
Yeah.
I think if we started listing things like, oh, Roman Anthony stepped on this gum recently, like I think T would
Tristan
buy it.
Casas game used toothbrush. Can I have it?
No,
Send it
$300
over.
bucks.
Yeah. You would absolutely buy that and
I
use
would.
it too. You wouldn't even put it in the case.
What's wrong with that?
It's bad hygiene.
Tristan's a clean guy.
There's not a person on this earth that I would use their toothbrush.
You didn't like when you were a child, you had like in your family household, you'd accidentally use your mom or sisters.
No, I've always had my own toothbrush.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
That's why you're not a worm guy right there.
Whatever, dude.
You're not in the mud.
Facts.
You're not a worm guy either, T.
Oh, I throw me under the bus. I could be a worm guy.
I remember what I was going to talk about.
Jerry?
The Real McCoy is our video at McCoy Stadium with Loomer. I got the advanced screening today. It's a little over 20 minutes. It's a fucking masterpiece.
It's a dog, yeah.
Mike Emond crushed it. He was able to work with like a local news station, and then he also did like a ton of digging through the archives himself. So like you've got us walking through McCoy with old footage kind of like superimposed over it. It's like if to use a word, it's haunting. Like you have Steve standing at like the souvenir shop, and it's got the metal grates down and there's graffiti and the posters are falling off the wall, and then it snaps to like a video from the 80s where fans are just lined up in the exact same spot that Steve is standing in. There's another scene, Bronson Arroyo threw a perfect game for the Paw Sox, and it's him getting the final out, him celebrating at McCoy, and then it cuts to a giant poster of that moment just lying on the ground in like a heap of piss and homeless people shit. The word is haunting. It's a great watch. I think it rivals the final game at Oakland Coliseum. I'm very excited for like the people of Pawtucket to see it. Former players that played there, fans like Steve, and even Emond himself was talking about like I've had birthday parties here as a kid. Like that's why like I tried to stay out of it as much as I could. I did the intro, I did the close, like I appear a couple different times, but like I went there once. It was when they clinched a playoff spot in like 2011, 2012. Like I don't have those like memories, so I was like, let me just stay out of it. Like Steve has sentimental, obviously Lou very sentimental. So I just was there to do the open and close and stay out of it as much as I could. But I think it, for the fans that do have that emotional connection to that place, this video delivers times a billion. So I'm very excited for people to see it. That's on our YouTube channel. So be sure to go subscribe now. And when it does drop, do we know the date, Jake?
Not yet, to be decided, but we'll let everybody know on social.
Okay. So when it does drop, obviously there are people that this would mean a lot to that maybe don't listen to Section 10. Send it to them. That's what helps us a lot is, the word of mouth stuff and people helping us out that way. But it is awesome. Eamon crushed it again. He always does. I don't think I've ever seen a video that he's worked on where I've been like, not his best. It's always like, damn, dude, like you did it again. So I felt that way. I watched it twice. I watched it twice today. So I'm excited for everyone to get to be able to see it. Steve, final thoughts?
Yeah, I have my final thought written down here. You guys got to see The Real McCoy. It's a documentary that Mike Emond, our guy, put together.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an incredible time there. I was there with Jared, with Lou. Just sentimental, just thinking about the good times.
Like what? What times?
Like spending birthdays there.
Oh, you had your birthday there?
Yeah, multiple birthdays.
Oh, shit, dude.
I believe like 8 through 10 went there for the B-Day, which was great. But
okay.
Yeah, no, that was I +1 everything you just said. I think the way that Mike cut this is it's eerie, it's sad, it's joyful because you get to relive some of the best moments of the park. it makes you feel all the emotions, which is an Eamon special. So credit to him for what he did on this. Lou is the MVP. Having Lou there was a great idea, and he crushed it with all the stories that he had. And giving
whose idea that was?
It was yours.
No,
it was Eamon's.
It was Eamon's.
Okay, I knew it was yours or Eamon's, so there we go.
Yeah,
it was Mikey's call.
Yeah,
so I thought I had a 50% chance there.
I'm pretty sure he was like, "Do you think Lou would do this?" And I was like, I don't know. I was like, what are we going, a Friday? Yeah, we went on a Friday.
So, yeah.
I was like, is he gonna just be like, yeah, sure, I'll drive up on a Friday in the middle of the fucking day? And I was like, I'll ask him. And he was like, I'm there. It wasn't even like, let me get back to you. I was like, would you do this? And he was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
I got to say, being there, I feel like I wanted to say more about what the park meant to be. It was so sad. It was just existing in that territory, in that space, and seeing what it's like now. It's the press box, dude. Going into the press box, we couldn't even talk up there. It's like, wow, this is a mess. People came in and threw chairs out the windows and everything. So yeah, it's sad, but I think it's going to matter a lot to the people in that territory. The videos we posted, the teasers we posted, you realize how many Sox fans grew up. The majority of the games they went to were Paw Sox games. They weren't games at Fenway Park. They were games at McCoy. So this is going to matter the most to people in that part of Massachusetts, that part of Rhode Island. It's going to matter a lot to that territory. So I really can't thank Eamon enough for what he did. And I have some fun facts. I have some trivia for you guys about the Paw Sox.
You're a big trivia guy tonight. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I know. I'm bringing some trivia back.
Yeah, I like trivia. I like trivia.
And it's about Bobby Dahlbeck and some other players. So Bob is one of the best Woo Sox players of all time, and he's one of the last players in
Bobby
the organization.
Bobby Dahlbeck.
One of the last players in the organization that played at McCoy Stadium. He played in the last game ever at McCoy on September 2nd, 2019. He did go 0-for-3, but he had a run and a walk.
Not
and a
necessary.
Not run and a walk. He had a run and a walk. We'll say he had a run and a walk because he did. Here's the trivia. The point of all this is the trivia. Can you guys guess the 2 active Red Sox players who have played for the Pawtucket Red Sox?
Rafael Devers.
That is correct.
And
only
Tanner
7
Houck.
career
He played,
games.
8 games?
7 games at McCoy, and he hit 370 with a bomb. Whoever has that ball, but I do wonder where that ball is. Somebody has a Rafael Devers Paw Sox homer, and it's the only one that ever exists. And
Chris Martin would have made it 3.
Houck?
Tanner Houck's correct. Yeah, there you go, Jerry. Yeah, Tanner
He pitched
Houck
for
and
them?
Rafael Devers. Yep.
I'm the
Tanner
fucking
Houck,
best, dude.
You're just awesome. He pitched in the final game at McCoy. He played in the final game at McCoy just like Bobby did. 2 2/3, 1 earned, 2 Ks. So yeah, McCoy was the best, and I think we did a great job. And Eamon and Lou were the MVPs.
God
and
damn,
also,
man.
It does feel like the Paw Sox almost feel like that was 20 years ago. Like when you say 2019 was the last game, it is shocking how quickly they were just like, nope, we're in Worcester. And that's like a credit to Worcester, how seamlessly they took on the team. But it does feel like Pawtucket never really had their goodbye.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, the ATS site was it.
That was supposed to be the last season of McCoy. So, we talk about the last game. No one went into there thinking they were seeing the last game at McCoy, which sucks.
Right.
Stealing that from the fans and that area is the worst.
That's true.
And yeah, 2020 was just that was the COVID site.
Yeah, you had Nick York rocking a Paw Sox jersey down there, right after getting drafted. Jarren Duran was going off at the ATS site. That was when this version of him first appeared. Tanner Houck, even before he debuted in 2020, was spending a ton of time down there.
I'm going to pull a T real quick. I got 2 other final thoughts. They're really fast. A lot of people reached out about Pirates Cove, and there's a dude named Derek that has worked there, still works there, that wants to host us for a tournament. So just wanted to mention that, trying to line that up for the summer. And then Garrett, our guy Garrett, just an absolute dog, so committed to the Section 10 brand. He's been doing the countdown of the best moments of 2024. He's going to do all the top 10 moments of 2024 of this podcast on Friday. So he's going to drop all of those on Friday, I think 1 each hour. And the work he puts in for free. I mean, this kid just grinds and gives us, content we can put on the pages. Can't thank you enough, Garrett. You're the best.
Oh, Garrett.
Love you, Garrett.
Love Garrett. Is this the picture? Yeah. September 1st, 2012. Paw Sox clinched the International League wild card.
Shout out Mauro Gomez.
Yeah, I was just going through my Facebook pictures to find it. 2012.
What a year.
Mauro Gomez put up fucking ridiculous numbers that year.
In 2012?
Yeah, AAA. I think he was an all-star.
I want to look at that box score. Can I find that?
Dude, BREF's like broken right now. Really
What did
pissing
you
me
do?
off. I can't look at any minor league stats. It just brings me to the encyclopedia.
Why'd you break it, T?
Because
He just visited it too much. It's like,
You
nah,
know,
dude, come on. It's
I'm
January.
going-
What are you doing on
Yeah.
BREF right now?
is there a Mauro Gomez Fangraphs page? Yep, there is.
Yeah.
2012. 310, 371, 589, 164 weighted runs created plus.
The Paw Sox punched their ticket to the 2012 International League playoffs on Saturday night at McCoy Stadium, blanking the Yankees 2-0. Pawtucket earned the wild card berth thanks to the pitching of Nelson Figura and the hitting of Dan Butler.
Oh, I love Dan Butler. Great org catcher.
Figueroa fired 8 shutout innings, scattering 4 hits and striking out 6. Josh Fields. Is that the shot, Josh Field? No.
Yes.
Josh Fields tossed a scoreless 9th for the save. Butler smashed a pair of solo home runs to account for the Paw Sox offensive output. They came in the 6th and 7th innings, and the Paw Sox make the playoffs for the 3rd time since 2008, the 2nd year in a row. Wow.
Fields got taken in Rule 5, right? That winner.
Brother, I don't know.
Houston.
You'll say
It's a
these
good
like
Rule
they're
5 pick.
obvious that, yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, you remember the fucking 2010 Rule 5? You know.
Yeah, and Figueroa, I think
He was just one of those guys.
Yeah.
I was always like, oh, we could use a Josh Fields.
Yeah, you remember.
Fakasi Cuchamaro, I think he went in the 10th round. He was
Yeah,
supposed to go 9th, though.
You guys know that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Incredible logos the Paw Sox had. Just seeing
Yeah.
that all over the park. What I gotta say, even though I'm trying to get free merch, what better logos than the Woo Sox? You didn't
Oh,
hear that,
shit.
Woo Sox? But yeah, great logos.
Jake's takes?
I thought it was funny. I was talking to Eamon earlier, and he was like, I'm worried people are going to start saying, here comes Debbie Downer Eamon with another heartbreaking documentary. But yeah, it's been 2 straight sad ones, but definitely check it out. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys got any other sad stuff to recommend that we can do, like clearly
Yeah.
we have the guy for the job that can crush it.
Yeah, if anything horrible happened that you guys want us to document, we got the guy.
We should send him to San Diego for like that whole ownership quarrel that's going on between
Yeah.
the Seidler wife and brothers. I'm sure that's going to end in a happy way.
Here's what you don't want to do. Don't hire Eamon to shoot your wedding, because that thing is not long for this world. Not long for this world. I mean, it would look at the wedding video would look incredible.
Oh, pristine.
But you guys are getting divorced within 2.5 years.
I was gonna say by the end of the week.
Well, you're gonna want to get divorced by like the 3 months in, but you're just gonna ride it out because you're like, well, made
While
my
we're
bed,
on
now I'm gonna
Eamon
lie in it.
Projects real quick.
Yep.
Jerry, are you like out of commission because of surgery? Can you move? Can you walk around and do stuff? You can do stuff, right?
What do you need me to do?
Titanic exhibit, man. It's only around until February 2nd.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't
Ever?
left my house yet.
Oh, in Boston.
It's in Boston. I haven't left my house yet. I haven't driven my car yet, but I would say another week max, and I'll be able to at least hobble around. Yeah.
Okay. Because again, that perfect timing for we can talk about how many people died and like
Yeah. Let's document that. Yeah.
I think, Steve, you should push Jared around in a wheelchair like Jared was on the boat and survived. And he's just reminiscing.
He would look like this, obviously.
Yeah. It's like he is aged phenomenally.
Yeah, that cold water really keeps the skin tight.
Yeah.
And he can't walk, but like he looks like he's, I don't know, like 35, something like that.
Yeah.
But no, 113. Right, 113.
I mean, that's going to be the perfect place to keep the sad streak alive. Titanic Museum.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it sad too. We're going to respect everybody.
Oh, I'm
We'll
going to
keep that
cry.
Yeah. Well, you were fucking there.
I was
obviously.
there, dude. Like, it's like my whole family was on that fucking boat.
Didn't you have your dog too? I remember you saying.
Yeah, my
what
dog.
was the name of the dog?
Yeah, Marcus the dog. And I was 25 at the time, so it was the family dog, and he was probably, I don't know, 12, 13.
Yeah. No,
Dogs lived long back then.
Of course, you guys were all going to the first game at Fenway.
You're going to the first game at Fenway, and
God, Marcus, great pup.
Nobody was more excited than Marcus.
Yeah. Well, Marcus made it. He died when we got to Boston.
Car accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
On top of the boat not the boat. When he swam, how the fuck did you guys survive, by the way?
Well, I put
you
him
were
in
the
the
boat.
boat.
You were in
Yeah.
one of the rescue boats, okay.
Yeah.
Marcus swam the rest of the way.
Yeah. He put me in his mouth and he swam me to shore and then died of exhaustion. But he technically survived the sinking.
Dead but unrelated to the boat crash.
Yeah.
R.I.P. What a dog, man.
Oh, the best.
Should we do? We might want to do a moment of silence, maybe right now.
Yeah.
All right. All right, that was good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Marcus.
You laughed a little too hard on the Marcus stuff, T.
Him just collapsing with you in his mouth is a very funny visual.
Not to me.
Not to me either, dude.
Wait till you see how Eamon recreates it with AI.
400 miles from that location to shore. Marcus, my goodness.
How long did it take him to get back to shore?
3.5 hours. To go 400 miles.
He was faster than the boat.
This guy was going. And he had you in his mouth like
an 87-mile-per-hour pace.
Everyone else is drowning. He's just like, I got this shit.
He did not let me down, dude. He did not.
I just exploded upon reaching the shore.
Well, that's how he avoided hypothermia. Was he was cooking? He was going so fast.
He was on fire.
Yeah. That's a math equation. How fast do you have to be going to cover 400 miles in 3.5 hours?
It's over 100 miles an hour. That's very simple math. It's like 112 miles an hour. It's not. It's pretty fast.
It's going
back in that day too.
Dog of all time. You ever see a dog in the water? It's like the slowest thing ever. No, Marcus fucking flew. This guy went 115 in the water.
Yeah,
I'm just burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, that is yes. So
like
it would
14 miles an hour.
It was, yeah, it's 114.29 miles per hour.
Absolutely cooking.
That's not too fast.
That's his average pace too for the entire. So sometimes he was going faster. Sometimes he'd take a little break, go 92. You know,
what's the max
zone,
speed you could get up to?
Probably that. Let's see. So the Titanic.
He was an older dog. In his heyday, he was pushing 150.
Yeah, 150. The Titanic was going 23.6 miles per hour.
That was his biggest problem.
Picturing a dog swimming at 150 miles an hour. It's like, how the fuck is he doing that?
While pulling them.
While pulling a 20-year-old. Yeah.
How is he capable of this?
Shit. I mean,
God, for 3.5 hours,
dude. The other people must have been so
you
pissed.
act like it's so crazy, but like he technically didn't make it. They killed him.
Yeah, cost him his life, but saved yours.
Saved mine, and
guy he
now
is.
I'm going back to the Titanic Museum to see the Marcus exhibit.
Well, they do have a section for him.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Fastest recorded dog to this day.
Yeah. In the
just
water.
Ashes.
Fastest
Body
dog in the
deteriorating.
water that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Land even. You're not seeing that kind of speed in these modern dogs.
No.
These labradoodles.
Hey, fuck you, Coley. That's a crazy. I have a labradoodle. I have a labradoodle.
Yeah, and I bet he can't run or swim 112 miles an hour.
At 11 years old, Sam isn't as fast as she used to be, but she's athletic.
She's never been 114.29 miles per hour fast.
Yeah, it says here that the fastest dog's 25 miles an hour. So Marcus was just rushing.
He was just on a different level.
What kind of dog was Marcus?
Husky.
It would make sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he pulls sleds. He can fucking sprint in water with a young boy in his mouth.
Young 20-year-old
Pause.
boy.
At the time or something?
I thought I was 20.
That's what.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's a boy.
Yeah, I was definitely boyish at 20.
Mm-hmm. Especially back then.
Yeah, not a pube in sight.
No beard, none of that.
No body mass. He was basically dragging a bag of bones. That's what huskies do.
He kind of like used you as like an oar, really.
Yeah. 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 I was merely a satchel to Marcus.
Did you guys encounter any marine life? Anything?
How
in
the
water?
fuck would I know? You're going so fast.
You were getting out of his way.
Yeah.
Just
No
right
time to
through a
see any
dolphin.
whales.
Just absolutely right through him.
Yeah. Like you would think, hypothermia would set in. No, the friction of my body on the water was creating heat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had burns on my body when I got back.
Yeah, the salt was hitting you. It's so fast. It was like sandpaper.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is why your skin still looks like this. It shaved you down to your base level, dermal level.
Yeah. All the dead skin was wiped away for the next 100 years.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
Permanently removed.
Yeah. I was obviously going face first in the water the whole way. Like, you should see my wrinkled ass, but my face, man, not a wrinkle in sight. Not a wrinkle in sight on this face. But the wrinkliest, pruny looking ass. 113.
3.5 hours.
It's so much time, dude.
You know how tired you would be if you drove in a car for 3.5 hours at 115 miles an hour?
The G-force would fucking hurt your
I get
chest.
tired sitting on the couch for 3.5 hours. You're in the coldest water of all time, carrying a human.
Not that
in a dog's
cold.
mouth.
In a dog's mouth.
Dog's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my ankle was a little fucked up after.
Sure.
Thanks,
A
Marcus.
fair trade, though, I would say.
Who cares? It's an ankle, dude. You got two. You can fix it, which I obviously had to, but modern medicine in 1912 wasn't what it is today.
No.
So yeah, we're gonna go to the Titanic Museum.
Museum. All right. You have a date in mind or no?
Just anytime between now and February 2nd.
That's when it's leaving?
I'm actually gone for a week. Wait, we have to do this soon.
Where is it? The Heinz Convention Center?
I have no idea.
Did I make that up?
Next stop, Heinz Convention Center.
I got something done there. I don't remember what, though.
130 Columbus Ave? Where's that?
I don't know, but all right. We'll be back on Friday with the bonus pod. Do we clear 3 hours, Jake?
3:06.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. All right. We'll be back on Friday with the bonus pod. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you in a couple days. Nope.
Buenas noches, amigos.